Okay, seems like everything is working. Let's double check all of it. All of it, specifically fucking YouTube that likes to not do it. Let's see. Okay, I am seeing it. Very cool. Looks like YouTube's working. Let's check Twitch. Oh god, I miss these. What about Mixer? Are they still around? We'll find out. Seems like Twitch is working. Oh, it's pretty decent delay too. That's good. What about? Man, there's a whole fucking app to Mixer. I'm gonna have to install now. Unless that merges too. Fuck Facebook. You are live. Okay, cool. Seems like we're good everywhere. Alright, what's going on, guys? And welcome to a TLG Reacts Live. In case you're watching this after the fact, know that I will be doing an episode later today. Tonight, might come out tomorrow morning, I'm not sure, with Chevy. He's not up right now to watch this, and we will be watching this a second time, discussing it further than I'm going to discuss it this time around. But I'm going to be doing a live reaction to Cyberpunk 2077, the Night City Wire Episode 1, which I'm sure everybody's very excited about. I'm very excited as well. We got about 15 minutes before this kicks off. And, yeah, I'm going to watch it, talk about it, fucking be very tired because I didn't get any sleep last night. I'm so excited. I couldn't sleep. It's also very fucking warm in my house. I need to put the AC in. Let's see. Is this working? Yes, it is. And yeah, we're just gonna wait this out a little bit longer. Got 15 minutes, so while I wait, I guess I'll just put this on to kind of drive the fucking hype. Hype.
This way.
In this video, you'll experience a segment of a quest from the middle of the game. We're currently in Pacifica, one of Night City's 6.
If you're watching this, this is obviously the older gameplay they showed last year, which is a more simple time than it is now. I miss 2019.
Hotspot within the city. As you can see, this didn't pan out. When uncertainty struck the global economy, investors pulled their funding, leaving most establishments unfinished. It's one of those places where expectations and
This sounds like modern day.
Resulting in a heap of disappointment. Ongoing gang wars plague this part of the city. Outsiders don't come here if they don't have to. Even by Night City's standards, it's dangerous to those unfamiliar with it. Taking a casual stroll here would not be a good idea. A fast motorbike or armor-plated car would be the safer option. But places like this have their advantages. If you're in need of rare goods or illegal cyberware, Pacifica's bustling local markets are a good place to start your search. The Grand Imperial Mall is a whole other story. It was one of the last developments in Pacifica to lose its funding. Until recently it stood vacant, but now a game called The Animals has
14 minutes. Oh yeah.
Not going right for the big guy up top.
And that's what we need to learn in order to earn the trust of the Voodoo Boys, the Animals' rivals.
Let's turn it down. Let me check the audio
Tell me
levels
what you plan to
real
do first.
quick. Seems about pretty good. I should be a little louder than it, but not too much louder than it. If I need to be louder, I will yell. I'll scream. I'll go.
Of the many gangs in
Fucking listen to me.
Cyberpunk 2077, the Voodoo Boys are the most skilled at using the net.
Voodoo Boys.
Why? What for?
So before this starts, I want to talk about a couple things that I'm hoping for in this. That is, and I've talked about this a million times, and I'm not just trying to like always talk about it, but it sucks because like I saw gameplay footage at E3 last year, and they still haven't shown that off. This video, they showed a little bit of it, like little clips of it, but they didn't show the whole like 22 minutes of it. And so at base minimum, I'm hoping we see that, but it's been so long at this point that I'm hoping that we see something brand new. I want to see something that I haven't seen. I want to be fucking blown away. You know, obviously it's going to be something everybody hasn't seen, but at the very base minimum, I hope we fucking see the full gameplay, but I don't think we're going to see it now. It's been so long since then. It's been a year, so hopefully they got brand new, awesome fucking footage to show everybody. This is trash. What's up, Psycho? Connor Johnson. Let's go, baby. I know, I'm so excited. We got 12 minutes. So people in chat now, what are you guys hoping to see in this video? I was just saying for anybody watching this later, I'm hoping at the very least we see the full gameplay footage from last year's fucking E3, but I don't think we're gonna see that. It's been so long now. I think we're gonna see some brand new stuff, which is really exciting for me. Hopefully here's some new info. I mean, this is all kind of vague shit, but really I'm just here for gameplay, man. I want to see some brand new fucking gameplay. They just released a picture yesterday of like a trailer out in the desert, which is really cool to see because we've been seeing so much of the cityscape, which, you know, we're gonna expect, but to see something that deviates from that is really fucking exciting. Hoping to see some violent night gameplay. See, the nighttime shit is something they promised a couple times. Even at E3 they were like, we're not going to show you nighttime, we really want to, but we're going to save that, so maybe we will see that. I mean, this is fucking Nightwire, so that'd be fucking dope. I really want to see what it looks like at night. We still haven't seen that. We've seen dusk. That's about it. Maybe some gun modes and mini games. I would love or gun mods. Sorry, I'm just waking up. My fucking brain's not working. Gun mods would be fucking dope. Mini games would be really neat. I'd like to see some kind of like interactions you're gonna have. You know, throughout the city. Also, let me know how my audio is. You guys know the drill. If it's fucking too loud, too quiet, it sounds like shit, let me know. We're running out of time already. And waiting for that juicy Secret Labs Cyberpunk chair. That would be sick. Seeing the desert and the Mad Max-esque Badlands and how dangerous it could be. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping to see a little bit, and they kind of might have hinted at it already, which is pretty cool. Gang attacks and how you deal with them, that would also be sick. I mean, we've seen pretty much a mission play out, which was crucial and amazing to fucking see. We've seen some explanation on gameplay. So yeah, I would like to see a little bit more on the city itself and what we're going to get from it. What kind of specific mechanics are we going to be dealing with in this game outside of just what your core gameplay is going to be, but kind of like what you're saying, gang attacks or like, you know, gun mods, mini games. Hopefully do get a little bit more of like the depth to this experience that we're going to be playing. Let's check. I know we're running out of time. 9 minutes? Whew, I'm fucking so tired. I didn't get any sleep last night, but I am so excited. I wouldn't be up this early if I wasn't. I'm so stoked. Night City Wire. Gameplay, we got 9 minutes. Got people watching on all platforms. What's up, everybody? Also keen to see how much it's evolved, like what that was last year or whatever, and it's still got a few months left. Me too, actually. I saw the gameplay and it looked really good. There's like 2 or 3 things I saw that looked kind of buggy. They explained that it was an earlier build than what's at present right now, which makes complete sense. But for a split second, I was like, oh, you know, it's got some problems. It's got some noticeable problems for sure. But that was a year ago, so I want to see how far it's come as well. Also, what we're looking at right now was the gameplay that they showed last year, that they showed later in the year. And I want to see if anything's changed, like the lighting, the graphics, maybe any of the systems. I mean, I don't think they're going to go out and explain the specifics of that, but maybe something we can notice. Because yeah, this shit's going to come out obviously on current gen and PC, but it's also going to be available on next gen. So, I mean, I assume we're going to be seeing the best graphics available right now, but did they ever say what they play it on? I'm assuming PC, but sometimes they like pretend it's on a current gen console.
With our nanowire, we can even hack this guy's implants from a distance.
Oh, I love the way it looks. Took work off for this too. God damn, you are committed.
Everything is connected to a local network.
I have to, I gotta work later, and, yeah, today's gonna suck. And then I'm gonna be coming home. Reminder for everybody watching right now or watching later, I'm doing this live reaction. I'll be watching it, I'll be talking with you guys in the chat live, with, you know, this happening. But then also, because Chevy's not awake right now, but I want to have this conversation with him as well, we're gonna be filming, maybe doing it live, I don't know, a separate episode of the same video. So probably watch the video again. I'm sure nobody will complain. Chevy will give you his actual reaction, because he will not watch this all day until the end of or later tonight, and then we'll have a discussion on it. So you'll be getting 2 videos on this within the next 24 hours. Watching the official stream, but fuck that, you're more entertaining. Well, thank you, I appreciate that a lot. And not that I want to say I agree, but a lot of the official streams and like the IGN ones, they have like no fucking, they got nothing going on, man. They're so fucking boring. They're so boring. I already kind of clicked around to a couple of the streams happening, and so, there's this one dude, he's just like sitting there, and he had gameplay playing like I have, but like he was just like,
as you can see, we have many possible options, but in each case, we take a risk.
And then IGN, they just have like old footage playing, but they got like a countdown happening. And it's just like quiet over there. I don't know. It's fucking lame. Seth, did you get invited to play the game? People did, and I thought you should have gotten to do it as well. No, I did not. If I did, you guys would have known. Closest I've had with this game, coming to interaction, was watching someone play it for like 22 minutes. You got to be pretty big. I mean, I don't even have 2,000 subscribers, so I'm pretty small. Although I have interviewed Dean Takahashi, which is pretty cool. That's quite the achievement for a channel my size. But yeah, I would have totally fucking played this game early if I could have.
Ever heard of Johnny Silverhand, a rebel rocker boy who will be your companion?
We have about 5 minutes left.
Like everyone in Cyberpunk 2077, he has his own agenda. You'll decide if he'll be your ally. I got my own agenda too. What's up?
What's up, Keanu?
The one thanks to which Johnny lives inside your mind. Well, that's a story for another time.
Wow, that was very abrupt. And don't worry, I'm not going to do my typical talking over, discussing thing when we watch this. I'll try to be pretty minimal about this video because I want you guys to be able to hear everything. Please let me know too if I need to turn it up. Fucking so close to release, like hurry up, I want even more of a no life. Yeah, I feel you. Specifically this year, man. Like I'm a pretty social dude. I like getting out and doing stuff. I like getting out and doing stuff in general. But this year, I'm really putting a lot of time into video games, which is great because I love video games, obviously. But it's like all I'm doing.
You blowing up all over the news. Are you alone?
I just want the money.
You got the chip? All right, start
Ready
it
to
up,
give up
bud.
vaginas for this game.
Why don't you go to the bathroom?
Yeah, I think
Wash
it's
up.
worth
We
it.
gonna be with
I
you
think
in
it's
a
worth
minute.
it.
Oh, come on,
I would
man.
love to see
Your
them
neck,
introduce
it's
a new character at
mess.
least. I agree. That's something they haven't really been too heavy on. Like they've kind of shown some people passively. I think it's kind of cool that they've kind of shown like an event that happens in the game through the cinematics too, namely like right here. But we haven't really got to know anybody yet. We've gotten to know gangs, but not individuals as much as I'd like. So yeah, a new character would be cool.
Alright, in and out, bitches!
But at the same time, you got to keep that kind of secret too, or at least I would prefer. But yeah, hint at people or show them off real quick. 3 minutes.
No. Okay, get to a clinic now.
Mr. Wells'
What's up,
condition
Cody?
is critical.
Go!
You up early too? What's up?
Hold on.
I'm so fucking tired.
Just think about
Hey,
all the
sleep
good
with
shit
all
we're
last
gonna
night.
have, huh?
I think I got about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours of sleep. That's why I'm chugging the coffee. Alright, I'm getting nervous, so I'm going to head right back over here and just kind of wait it out. Hopefully you guys don't mind sitting with me for another 2 minutes. I'm sure I can sit here and talk the whole time. So it won't just be quiet. Hi, I thought I missed it. I legitimately fell asleep. First off, hi, what's up? So late. So late. What time is it there? Oh yeah, you're probably, wait. I don't know. It's so fucking early. I'm getting sleep. I'm fucking really tired right now. But I got caffeine for that, so here we go. Again, please let me know if the audio is not balanced well, which I have done pre-balancing, so it should be fine. But if something's up, let me know. So late, 2 a.m. 2 a.m.? I mean, that's pretty late. That's pretty late. Like, it could be later. Trying to argue that. That would be interesting. I hope so badly that when you get into the game, you can play, like, younger backstory before the events of 2077, even though it won't remotely happen. But, yeah. I don't see that happening, but it would be kind of cool to have, like, maybe side stories, side quests. Maybe have a mission where you have to jack into a fucking computer and go through an event that happened prior. That'd be kind of neat. Did you play the pen and paper at all? If so, what would be the one thing you were keen to see in the first 2 hours? I played the pen and paper a little bit back in the day. And keen to see in the first 2 hours of the game, playing it? I mean, honestly, it's such a fucking hard question to answer just because I love everything that's Cyberpunk. Not even just Cyberpunk, but like the genre in general. So, more so just being able to see, and we've already seen it, which blew me away, but just seeing it realized in 3D and being able to explore it is so exciting. I usually sleep between 10 to 11 p.m. Oh, you go to bed early. Alright, here we go. Let me know about the audio. Double check while it starts.
You don't believe in no fate. Every day digging the grave. Step in the pit with the stakes. City of dreams, city of.
Hello and welcome to this, the very first episode of Night City Wire, a brand new series from us at CD Projekt Red, where we'll be talking about all things Cyberpunk 2077. For today's episode, we'll be starting with a brand new trailer. One of our developers will be joining us to help unpack everything you're going to see. We'll have some news, an announcement about a secret collaboration. We'll be taking a look at some Braindance gameplay and welcoming back our developers just to have a chat about everything you're going to see. But there is one more thing. Media all over the world have been getting hands-on with Cyberpunk 2077, and when this episode finishes, you'll be able to go and check out exactly what they thought. So, let's get started. It is time
Margo.
to take a look at our brand new trailer, and after that, our lead quest designer Pavel Sasko will be joining us because I've got a feeling you're going to have a few questions after watching this. So, let's take a look.
I love this town. The city of endless opportunity. Ready to get your cherry popped? Yeah, come on!
City like any other, just bigger.
Night.
Nah, mano, not just any other city. Legends are born here.
The major leagues. We're only here because Dex is pulling the strings. Doubt that puts us in the same league as them.
But we are. They just don't know it yet. But if you got the cojones and you know how to use them, you can do damn near anything.
Unless you catch a bullet.
Even then, you go out with a bang, right?
You know, you can make heaps more eddies as a motivational speaker.
Yo, Mr. V, a pleasure.
So what's the gig, Dex? You meant to come out in one piece?
Oh shit.
How about we go over the plan?
There's this prototype tech, a biochip to be precise. Jobs to grab it.
Guessing it belongs to a corp.
Arasaka.
We're robbing some heavy hitters.
Thought you could blackmail me, fucker?
High risk, high reward. First rule of the afterlife.
Ka-ting, baby.
Goes without saying, we do this on the hush.
There's so
Ideally,
much.
no
There's so much
bodies,
they're showing.
not a one.
Sounds simple enough.
Eat lead, assholes!
Is it gonna be dangerous?
Don't you worry, mi amor. We're bulletproof. Get your ass moving now!
What the fuck just happened in there?
Can't stop digging nights.
Oh shit.
Fucking major leagues. Happy now, Jackie?
Yep, that's fucking high! Time to bail!
Oh my god, we're so fucked.
Dex, what the fuck?
Can't risk it, V.
And you, who are you? Fuck.
What the fuck?
So the trailer contains footage from the game's prologue only, but there's an awful lot in it. So Pavel, why
Yeah,
don't
dude.
you try and help us unpack everything that we just saw?
Oh yeah, I mean, absolutely, I can try. So, what you have just seen is only the prologue of the game. So that awesome stuff is only happening in the first few quests. What the trailer shows you is really
Sick.
our stage, the Night City. You know, this gigantic city built of 6 completely unique districts, surrounded by the 7th one that we call the Badlands. As a player, you are meeting Jackie. Jackie's your friend. Now, they together are trying to reach out for something that is very precious. They are trying to reach out for this chip of immortality, this gateway to eternal life. Jackie introduces you to Fixer Dexter Deshawn. He's a very important person in a social ladder of Cyberpunk. He is able to provide the player with various jobs and contracts to be able to gather money, to be able to modify their bodies, push themselves to the limits, to put their hands on
love how
the chip.
fucking
But,
densely packed
as you can
everything
expect,
is.
not
Looks so
everything
fucking
goes as
good.
planned, and, but to see it, you will have to play the game.
There are an awful lot of really cool things in this trailer, and there's a few that I would just prefer to
Understatement.
talk about a little bit more for the people at home. So let's start with talking about a gang called the Mox. Now, we see a few flashes of them in this trailer. I personally think they're really cool and one of my favorites, but can you give us a little bit more information about them?
Oh yes, so the
Yeah,
Mox is
they
one
showed
of the
so
gangs that
much, and
players
there's like,
will
that's the
interact with
prologue,
throughout the
couple
game.
missions.
The Mox is the gang that has been formed in 2076 after death of Elizabeth Borden. She was called Lizzie. Now, she was an owner of a brothel and former sex worker, and she was protecting
I love his
working guys
enthusiasm.
and girls from harassment, from abuse, and the gang is really continuing her mission. And as a player, you are going to interact with that gang, meet multiple different NPCs, and craft your own relationship with them, and understand what they are all about.
So earlier on, you did mention a 7th district, a place called the Badlands. Now, we saw a
Exactly.
few shots of this in the trailer, but I'd love for you to give us a bit more detail about the district outside of the city walls.
Okay, so the Badlands is this like dead, dried out space going around the whole Night City. And as a player, you'll be able to traverse that space in your car or motorcycle. This is a space that is inhabited by the nomads. Nomads are living in different families, and they are traveling across that space in convoys made out of the cars and motorcycles. And as a player, you'll be able to traverse and access different type of open world content that has been prepared specifically for you to get that awesome feel of the Badlands as an area.
In the trailer, we also saw like a completely metal creature. Now, he didn't look like he was from the Maelstrom gang. This looked like something else. So please tell the people at home, who is this giant metal monster?
Okay, so that big dude, that was Adam Smasher. He has been introduced in pen and paper in Cyberpunk 2020 by our senpai Mike Pondsmith. Adam Smasher is a fully converted cyborg. He was always a loyalist of Arasaka. And time has changed, and in 2077 he had to find his own space in Night City. But to find out, you'll have to play the game.
In this trailer, we do see some flashes of a Ripper Doc called Victor Vector. I think if people have watched our previous gameplays, they might remember him. But I'd really like for you to give the people at home some more information about what Ripper Docs are and how they'll be interacting with them when they play Cyberpunk.
So Ripper Docs in our game, they are surgeons. They are like a specific type of a job in the social ladder of Cyberpunk. They are accustomed and specialized in replacing limbs to the metal ones. They can basically update your body, enhance your body, change you into this walking war machine. And as a player, you are going to meet different kind of Ripper Docs in the game, craft your own relationship with them. Some of them are like important characters for a story. Through that, you will invest eddies that you're gathering to turn your body into this tool that allows you to survive on the streets of Night City.
Pavel, thank you so much for joining us. I know you'll be back later in the episode because you're going to be helping us to analyze the Braindance gameplay. But before that, we do have some news to share. Earlier in the year, we announced that if you pick up Cyberpunk 2077 on Xbox One, you'll be able to play it on Xbox Series X when the console launches. And just in case you missed it, it will be the same for PlayStation players as well. If you pick up Cyberpunk 2077 on PlayStation 4, you'll also be able to play it on PlayStation 5 when the console launches. And that's not all. There will be a free upgrade for Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, but we'll have more details on that soon.
To Night City.
Before we reveal our first look at the Braindance gameplay and welcome back our developers for a chat, there is just one more thing we want to announce. Something that we've been working on in secret for a while. We are very excited to announce our partnership with Studio Trigger and Netflix to bring you Cyberpunk Edgerunners, a standalone anime set in the Cyberpunk universe we've been working on for some time now. Edgerunners is due to launch in 2022, but for some more information, let's go to the team in Tokyo.
That's a little ways out.
Hi, my name is Saya Elder. I am the Japan-based producer for Cyberpunk Edgerunners. What I do basically on this project is that I am a fixer, to put it in the words of the Cyberpunk universe. We are a game company. We are a bunch of nerds, and wherever there are nerds, there's going to be anime fans. So it was always a dream for us to make anime. When we began this project, we were certain that we didn't want to make a recreation of the game. Cyberpunk Edgerunners is a standalone story set in the same universe. The stage is still Night City, but everything else is totally new. New characters, new story. I do like to think that it's going to be a great gateway for newcomers to come and check Cyberpunk game and also the Cyberpunk genre as a whole. Right now we're in Nakano, which is one of the biggest anime meccas of the world. I'm going to take you to Studio Trigger right now because we have the wonderful opportunity to talk to the dream team that will be bringing you this anime.
こんにちは。トリガーの代表取締役の大塚です。監督の今石です。キャラクターデザインを担当する吉成です。ゲームのサイバーパンクのファンの方、今回初めて触れる方、両方に満足していただけるようにアニメを作るそうです。よろしくお願いします。今回はそのサイバーパンクという僕らが10代の一ファンにしか過ぎなかった頃に生まれたジャンル、そういうジャンルのものをまた時代が何周もして作れるというのが。
Oh, dude, game of the year. I've been saying it, man.
10年ということで。
I will be surprised if this is not my game of the year.
キャラクターデザインに吉成というトリガーの最強の夫人で トリガー10周年にふさわしい作品にしていきたいと思います。お楽しみに。
That's why I know. Yeah, Chevy talks about Trigger all the time. That's cool. It's just 2022. Holy shit.
Now it is time to show you some gameplay of Braindance. This is a feature that you'll experience when you play Cyberpunk 2077. Braindance is essentially a recording of somebody else's experience. It allows you to relive their sense of sight, smell, touch, and even hearing, all thanks to a special device. After the gameplay, I will be welcoming back Pavel Sasko, and will also be joined by Patrick Mills, our senior quest designer and all-round lore master, who will be helping to answer your questions and give you some explanation on how you'll be interacting with Braindance when you play Cyberpunk 2077. So, let's take a look.
Plan simple. Do nothing odd. Don't get creative. You go in, snatch the cash, get out. And we sell the BD to those psycho freaks from the studio.
Got it.
And remember, everything on full blast. They'll spot us extra for a wicked adrenaline high.
This is kind of like what we're talking about. The game like movie. Yeah, and it's an open world game, and it's like mocap, like fucking cinematic. Like every scene.
On the ground.
So much work put into it.
Money now, or I will fucking drop you. I swear to God. Well, yeah. Hey, now before I blow your fucking head off.
Ah! Slow, deep breaths. Your cortisol and adrenaline spiked, but the soft activated hormone blockers. Nothing happened. You're alive and well.
She looks cool.
That was too much. Could feel the guy's pain, his stress, his hope. Hope wrapped up in something else.
Mm-hmm. Probably took a booster just before.
Mm-hmm.
Got everything set up? Let's switch over to editing mode.
Editing?
I'll sever the link to the BD Roller's sensory array. You'll be able to look around freely. Whole scene's yours. Full cam control in analysis mode, so move around, zoom in and out, whatever else you come up with.
This is cool.
So analysis mode, you control playback. Can even pause when you feel the need.
Thank you for the follow, Rick.
Editor console to unpause. Try it.
Plan simple. Do nothing odd. Don't get creative. You go in, snatch the cash, get out. And we sell the BD to those psycho freaks from the studio.
Got it.
Dream as hell, right? Well, that's not all. You can speed things up or rewind, whatever you like. Give it a try. Rewind, roll it back to the top.
Can I?
I like that you play out the scenario and then you can go back and kind of scrub through it. That's fucking dope.
Plan simple. Do nothing odd. Don't be creative. You go in, snatch the cash, get out.
Okay. You can also reset the recording. That'll take you right back to the beginning. Try it. Now for some fun. This here's why you came in the first place. In analysis mode, you get to view and even scan details of the enviro recorded by the BD Roller. Focus on the heat, the gun this gonk gets from his buddy at the beginning. Now scan it.
Plan simple. Do nothing odd. Don't get creative. You go in, snatch the cash, get out. And we sell the BD to those psycho freaks from the studio. And remember,
okay, right here.
Yeah, I'm on YouTube, Tasty Loot Gaming, Twitch, I think I'm TLG, Tasty Senpai. But yeah, YouTube. I'm streaming on all 3 platforms right now. My weekly show's on YouTube though.
Even the sights and sounds the roller was never aware of. To see the sources of the recorded sensory signals, switch to the audio layer in the editor. Go ahead and try that now. Okay, good. Now you should see several sound signatures in the store.
This is so intricate.
And hone in on it.
Pack of 6, case of Brosif, and a couple of zappers.
You might not have to. Maybe only if you want to.
Down, everybody!
Unbelievable. Seriously, like what's happening right next to me.
It's a better way of getting information than just fucking opening a drawer or finding a piece of paper that someone wrote for someone else and left in a drawer for some reason that gives you the info you're looking for. I get sick of that shit.
What I see you kissing the flooring. Money.
It's wrong for me to already be looking for the future and wondering what the two pit. No, in our last episode where we discussed this, it just kind of like hit me fucking hard. I was like, oh shit. There's gonna be fucking expansions. Like, I wasn't ready for that yet, but now I've been thinking about it like nonstop. Play detective. How much views? Views over on YouTube right now. I got like 3 people hanging out. You don't have to. This is just one option. It's playing detective. I like it. On stream, gameplay and systems here are blowing even my already high expectations. Every time I see this game, there's just more. Like, a lot of games I'll see it and it has the one feature, and then you play it and, like, you know, the story might unravel as you play it, but you know, you already kind of found out what the game offers. But every time I see this game, it just shows more shit and more shit and more shit.
You'll see in a sec. Cam feeds to the screen behind the clerk. Roll back to where the screen's in the kid's field of vision, then scan it.
This is just taking the foundation of what fucking Bethesda just fucking revolutionized and abandoned, and just snatching it up and fucking going, this is ours now. Because the amount of work put into this game is just fucking crazy.
You can exit.
Yeah, it is like that. Yeah, you're right.
Too bad most of
Psycho.
the DVDs we do here
This is like the crime scene reconstruction feature from Detroit Become Human.
Is a pretty big
Also kind of reminds me of the thing in Division 2 when you walk into the street and you find those like memories.
An awful lot to it.
Except for,
and there's
you know,
two
it's
sides
interactive.
I'd really like you guys to help me explore. First is the lore, so how this actually fits into the universe, and then there's the gameplay side, so how players will be interacting with it. So Patrick, could you tell us more about the lore of Braindance?
I would love to.
So in the world of Cyberpunk, made it look like she was braindancing.
Braindance was invented way back in the early 2000s.
I can't talk about iTwitch. I have iTwitch all the time.
It was developed as a way of recording a person's experiences and then playing them back for someone else, so that they could relive them as though it was happening to them. It was originally used for things like therapy and prisoner rehabilitation, but by 2077, it's become this global media industry, including things like movies, mass entertainment, things like that, video games, some interactive things, and of course, adult fare as well. Now, in our game, we deal a lot with black brain dances, or XBDs as we call them, and there are different types of those, but the one that you saw in the trailer just there was a flatliner. Now that's where the person recording it actually dies during the recording. And it's popular with sort of an illicit kind of a thrill, but
I agree,
mercenary can also
100%.
use them for various things, and you'll see that in the game, of course.
And from the game
They left it open for somebody else,
have
and
been working a lot throughout
better developers
last
showed
years,
up.
Trying to figure out the best way how to use the braindance in the game as a mechanics. So what we have settled on is this braindance editor mode. As a player, you will be able to run the braindance in the editor mode and see different clues that have been registered on the peripheral of given actor. Now, as a player, you can slide on the timeline of the recording back and forth, trying to uncover different clues. And that clues are actually telling a story in the game. So as a player, you will run different investigations that will lead you to
yeah, I agree.
mysteries, and you will
this game is a
uncover
whole
them
lot more going on than I thought.
Every
time, dude. Every time they show it, just more shit,
as Pavel
more
was
shit.
saying, we use Braindance as a storytelling tool. It's not a collectible.
Like every time I see this game, it looks like a single player FPS that's cinematic. Then you got to remember it's an open world, make your own character, choose your own fucking adventure RPG.
Philosophical
and it's got all the graphics and detail and fucking work put into it that you'd expect from.
So we've tried to talk about
single
some of the
player.
aspects
It
that
is
the
single player,
community
but
will find really exciting. But
like linear experience.
While you're both here, I'd love to know What is it about Cyberpunk that you guys are really excited for? Patrick, why don't you start?
I got to ask something kind of similar to earlier.
One of the things that I'm most excited about in this game is the characters and the way they interact with the world. We've got this really interesting world that stretches all the way back to the Cyberpunk 2020 source material and all of these events and all of those things, but those don't mean anything unless they connect with characters. And so when we come up with a character, we start with their function. What is this person? What do they do in the story? But we don't stop there. We go back and we figure out what was their childhood
well
like,
beyond
what was their
100%.
upbringing like? What kind of obstacles did they face in this harsh reality, and did they overcome them? And how did they overcome them, or did they not overcome them, and why? And you can see all of those things in their environment,
about how
in
short
their
the gameplay was,
dialogues,
though.
in sort of how
They
they
packed
operate
so much
in the
into that
world.
short burst,
And
though.
we come
I
up with
kind of
that
like
for
that they're not
all of
showing
our
a whole lot
characters. Now, you look at
because
someone like Victor Vector,
when the game
and
comes
you're
out, I
gonna
mean, they only
see
showed the prologue.
Stories about his past
So,
in his environment.
I'll go see you in the
and his
future.
dialogue.
Thanks for hanging out,
You know,
Rick.
we come up with that
And
stuff
thanks for the follow.
even if we don't use it in the
Check
game.
me out on
because it helps
YouTube at
inform
Tasty
us
Loot
as to
Gaming,
who
too,
these
if you're curious about our weekly show.
And for me, I would not be myself if I would not say that I'm the most excited about our quests. Like with our Witcher 3 team, with Patrick and like everybody that has stayed with us since the Witcher 3 time.
The driving
we
looks
have
good,
grown
too.
So much. We have learned so much, and we have
I was
used
kind of worried about that.
all that experience to put them into the quest that we have made. And you will not find really a filler in this game. Like everything has a meaning. Like we put so much effort into making
And I
sure
believe that because
everything
Witcher 3 was
is
like that.
rewarding, is interesting, is talking about
Mhm.
characters, as Patrick said, is talking about worlds, is talking about
fucking
emotions.
so
like,
hyped, man.
touching the player in a really, like a real way. And I just can't wait to find out what you think.
Pavel, I know you mentioned story and quests and writing quests, and when I was last in the studio,
Oh,
I
dude,
had
hundreds of hours,
saw a
easy.
notebook on your desk, and I would love for you to show everybody this notebook.
Okay, Holly, I mean, you asked for it. So this is my notebook. It says Salsa
yeah.
Quest Designer.
I'm not a
The
completionist,
reason
so I don't have to worry about that,
I
but
have Salsa, and I'm a quest designer, so you know.
for you guys out there who are into that.
I started this notebook actually when we were really starting Cyberpunk. At the very beginning, I wrote like a first note, and it says pretty much something along the lines of that we were starting with a prototype. And then, you know, I kept on basically noting things that we've been working on for like next years. I remember once when our concept artists actually approached me, and they said that they want to take a look on my notebook. I was like, what for actually? And they took some pictures, and they told me, yeah, well, you know, because we are looking for a reference material for notes of a psychopathic killer. Yeah, well, you may find maybe some of my notes in the game.
Pavel and Patrick, thank you so
Some
much for
Seven
joining me.
shit.
I'm pretty lucky because I have read some of the stories that you and the team have written for Braindance, and I'm pretty excited for people to discover them. But before we do finish today's episode, there is just one more thing we'd like to talk about. Earlier in this episode, I mentioned that media have been getting hands-on with the opening of Cyberpunk 2077, and they should be
Wait, do you see
posting
the
their
blood?
impressions.
Oh yeah, it
about
looks like
now.
shit. I got something going
And if you
on.
missed anything from today's episode, don't worry, we'll be uploading everything to our channels very soon. And finally, on behalf of everybody at CD Projekt Red, we just want to say thank you so much for joining us for this.
It's over already,
episode
dude?
of Night City Wire. But don't worry, we'll be back with episode 2 in just a few weeks. So, we
I
shall
just
see
want
you
the
soon.
game. Okay, so that dude's a serial killer, and the game looks amazing. That's what we got out of that.
Okay, I'm bored in the house and I'm in the house.
Okay, no ad. Shut the fuck up. Okay, let's see. I know they said they plan on to include deep customization for vehicles, but I feel like they will undeniably have some. If not on launch, it'll come with one of the expansions. I can see that happening for sure. Witcher 3 expansions added something. So much to the base game, 100%. Blood in her nose. Yeah, she got something going on. There's always a second playthrough. Ramblings of a Madman. That's what that guy started sounding like. I was like, what are we even getting at here? Episode 2. Are they going to feed us these episodes? I'm down. I think that's the plan, yeah, because this says episode 1 on it. So hopefully, they said a couple weeks too. So that's like actually, it sounds like we're going to start getting more consistent or more constant episodes leading up to the release of the game, which is cool because they've held their cards very close to the chest for so long. Oh my god, what the fuck? I'm with you. Boo, it's over. I'm with you. So mind blown. I'm with you. Holly looking fine though. Yeah, they said it was gonna be 25 minutes. It's a very, very good sentence. 400 hours. I think you could put 400 hours into that game easily, yeah. 400 might be a stretch though. Yeah, depending on, you know, how much there is there to do, but I mean, like, with how much, I guess, how diverse the different characters you can make can be, with like builds and stuff, I could see coming back in and playing through again. I mean, I'm assuming, you know, one playthrough is going to be a pretty generous amount of time, and for someone like me, I'm gonna be taking my time. I'm gonna be walking and looking at everything and checking shit out and really thinking about my decisions when I'm talking with people. You know, in combat's a little different. You're shooting at people and shit, but if you're playing like a stealth run, or a hacker type character, you're gonna take a little longer than, in some situations, than somebody who's just shooting their way through. So it's really, this is one of those games that's gonna like really come down to the player on how long it's gonna take you to beat it. Every game's like that, but this game's gonna be like to a more extreme degree, I think. How the hell am I supposed to try and sleep now for the next 50 hours? I don't know. I'm so down. Holy shit. It's a good way to do it, especially with the delay. Yeah, at this point, it's drive the hype until it comes out, so people aren't thinking about that delay. They're just getting more and more and more excited, which I think they did with this. I think they nailed. Easy 400. Think about how much shit is in the game. I think the marketing strategy CD Projekt Red have been going for is fantastic. The episodic Nightwire City is going to drum up so much hype every few weeks. I agree. I mean, this alone did it for me. So if they can maintain this kind of feed and keep it interesting while keeping it vague, I think people are going to feel satiated until the game's release, for sure. Now check the hands-on previews for some more info, I guess. Well, let's see, hold on. I'm going to go full screen real quick so you can just look at my fucking fuzzy-ass face while I look through here real quick. I think that, check. The embargo's probably up, but it looks like a lot of people they have their shit set to it as like a premiere. So I don't know if they're allowed to release them yet. Maybe in an hour or so. Customization screen, 2 hours alone. I hope so. I'm the same as you, Seth. I'm such a slow player. I take my time to explore the world, allow myself to get immersed, and to really consider my options. Even playing The Last of Us Part 2 right now, like, I'm really kind of taking my time. I'm like going through Seattle and looking at every nook and cranny, and it's almost to the point where it's driving me crazy. This game will be no different. Although my interest in this game is way bigger. Yeah, it really shows they care for sure. I'll have to rewatch. Missed so much shit. I want to see if they have if Twitch is really good about uploading right after you're done streaming. So I want to see if I can access that. This is other people's streams. 2 hours ago.
Thing that we just saw.
Okay.
Question.
I mean, I'm willing to watch it again. And then I'll watch it again with Chevy. But before we do that, I'm just going to talk with you guys real quick. I have to rewatch, missed so much shit. EA, again, take notes. Sony and CD Projekt Red are showing you how to do it. Come on. 100%. Ugly face. Mine? I don't got no fucking ugly face. What are you talking about? Damn. The Last of Us 2 is so fucking technically advanced, dude. Dude, it really is. It's crazy. It's crazy playing that game and just seeing the tech in it and going like, holy shit. Like I noticed when you get wet in that game, like your hair actually gets like matted and like it looks drenched, which is something I'm not used to. Obviously, wet clothes in games is nothing new. I'm still impressed by the tech, but to see the amount of detail and further push in those those technologies is really fucking neat. Plus, every fucking inch of that game feels individually mocapped like a cinematic, which is like insane. There are more episodes of Nightwire coming. Damn. Okay. Yeah. Exactly. Like the way they've been feeding us stuff. It's been like, here's a video this year. Oh, next year, here's a video. And then it's all like these screenshots on fucking Twitter. And, yeah, it's weird that we're finally getting down to it. Even though we got that delay and we got to wait a little longer, which I'm fine with. Even though watching this right now, my brain's like, no, you're not. You're not fine with that. Fucking, you want that right now. But the rational side of my brain is like, no, that's fine. It's good, though, that we're going to be getting more constant updates on this game now, which I think they did it smart because, you know, they put out that teaser a long time ago. Me and Chevy got fucking hyped on that, but we love Cyberpunk. But then that 48-minute video came out. That was like the next thing they showed. It was years later. They showed that and just blew everybody away. And then they went quiet for a long time. And then they showed a little bit more and a little bit more. And then they talked about a little bit here and a little bit there. And they kind of let the hype kind of drive itself throughout the community, essentially, which has been crazy. So to just now, getting close to the release of the game, start going, okay, we're gonna start talking about the game a little more than we were before. It seems to be working. I feel fucking hyped. I don't feel like I'm like, you know, that I've been starved of information. And sometimes you don't hear something from a developer for a while, and you start kind of losing interest. And that hasn't happened at all for me with this game, at least. I'm extremely handcrafted. It's extremely handcrafted, anyways. I was skeptical about the wire. I'm not disappointed though now. That's the biggest thing I notice about this. It is handcrafted looking. Like every scene looks so intricate and so designed, and not generically designed. You know, sometimes you'll go into like a building in a game and it kind of has a similar layout to another building and has the same textures, same walls, but maybe different characters in it. It's in a different location. Maybe it has like, you know, the same build but different tables or something like that. You know, so it just seems like they kind of built it quick or whatever. But everything I've seen so far all just seems so just planned out and detailed. So it's really impressive, specifically for an open world game, because the bigger the game gets, the more it seems they kind of generate shit. Look at Ubisoft games and their open worlds. I mean, like, they're fine, and whatever engine they use for those open worlds does a really good job at like rendering big, huge fucking areas. But it's outside of, you know, like if you're playing Assassin's Creed and you go in like a town or something like that, a lot of it's kind of just like whatever. It's not, there's nothing about it that's like super fucking interesting. Yeah, they said they're not using too much procedural generation. It shows too. Exactly, yeah. Which, I mean, I expect from them. So there's a lot of things CD Projekt Red has been saying about this game that if another developer said this shit, I'd be more skeptical on. But because of their pedigree and what they've made so far, they've kind of they haven't given me a reason to doubt them yet. And as soon as I have a reason, I'll fucking talk about it. Like, every company, you know, has their ups and downs and stuff. But CD Projekt Red just has a really good trajectory right now. They just keep going up and up and up, and this game seems to be following that. So it's very cool. I'm gonna watch this video all over again if you guys want to hang out. And then probably I gotta get ready for work at some point. But okay, that's what I want to ask you guys, though. Before we get into that, what do you guys think about the brain dance thing? I saw a kind of mixed bag of reactions there. You know, some people aren't going to want to play detective. Some people will want to do that. Some people are going to be kind of mad about it. I don't like doing stuff like that in games a lot of the times if it's done lazily. This has an interaction to it that I haven't really seen in a game. You're going to be playing through the scenario as the person, which I think is pretty neat. Some games have had like cinematics and stuff where you kind of see it from someone else's perspective, but in this you're kind of like playing it out, which is pretty neat. But then you're going to be able to go outside of that and be able to like scrub through, look at different details externally, and then also check out audio signatures and stuff like that. And it seems like it's a lot more involved than a lot of other people would do in a game like this. You know, Psycho said that it's like Detroit Become Human. There are segments like that, and it is similar to that. And I actually kind of liked those segments in Detroit Become Human. But I was also saying too that it kind of reminded me of those scenes in not scenes, those random echo things in Division 2, on a bigger degree, obviously on a bigger level. But where you run up and you kind of start up the echo and you watch a scene play out and you can kind of get some info from it. But you know, those are so boring to me in the Division. They're kind of just lazily done. You're just activating a cutscene. But in this, it seems like you're having a part in it, which is really neat. I love that the Brain Dance segment kind of points to having to pay attention when doing a quest. Exactly, yeah. It seems more involved. It's less like sit back and watch. It's more like, oh, what happened here? And you're like seeing it from how they saw it to investigating it, which I think is really fucking cool. Would be interesting if you miss a clue, it affects the story somehow. Probably not, but that would be cool. I mean, I could easily already see though, like maybe there's like a safe or a code or something like that in a mission that you're on or going into, and if you didn't get the info from that Brain Dance segment, you might have missed it. So there might be information in these that will help you when figuring out stuff in a mission line, which I could definitely see happening. Horizon Zero Dawn has something like that too, right? I think so. I haven't played that in a while. It's been years. I think it does. All the previews seem to blown away by how technical the game is. That's the one consistent thing every preview mentions. They all confirm there's a lot of bugs still, though. Yeah, and I mean, I can confirm that because like a year ago when I saw it, I saw a couple bugs. Nothing too crazy, but I did notice a couple janky things that happened. Are the previews out yet? No, I didn't see any when I looked. Cyberpunk. Uh-oh. Why'd I get muted? I don't know how much you guys heard me say or not, but it doesn't seem like there's any Well, what's this? So it seems like the embargo's up now? Because theirs is out.
CD Projekt Red has come to be known as the master world builders in the gaming industry. Since The Witcher 3 debuted in 2015, we've had plenty of games that have come close to emulating the organic worlds that CD Projekt Red has created. But from games like Horizon Zero Dawn and Assassin's Creed Odyssey to Rockstar's own epic Red Dead Redemption 2, none has come close to emulating the way CD Projekt Red's world seemed to exist regardless of you, not just because of you. From this very first hands-on with Cyberpunk 2077, which saw me play through the open opening 4 or so hours of the game, it's clear that CD Projekt Red isn't shying away from building a living world once again, but this time it's doing it on a bigger scale than ever before with Night City. This bustling metropolis oozing with neon and danger has its own rhythms and life outside of what you're doing as V. I spent a little too much time watching civilians meander down the streets with a refreshing array of realistic body
What
types,
is Jeff Keighley doing it through? What's it? What's the channel on YouTube?
Interrupt if I so choose. Or just wandering around watching various side missions, bounties and other activities pop up like some kind of teenage acne breakout. But like any good open world game, there's a huge focus on player choice, and that starts right at the beginning. Before the game's even started, you're given the choice of one of 3 backstories.
Even look at that guy sitting on the stairs, like they had to like
the opening
design
that
that, everything, every
different depending
detail.
on which of those you choose. This is the Nomad opening.
Electric coupling module.
You said it was nothing serious when I came in. You said you were sure.
Guess I was wrong. Can always look for another shop where they won't ask a lone nomad why he's hugging the border.
That's fine. Step aside.
What?
This is part of the Corpo one.
What?
Don't come here often, do ya?
So they are showing their gameplay a little bit.
Now sit down and tell me what's got your shorts in a knot.
And this is a section of the Street Kid opening.
I'm taking the car.
What are you doing?
Chingados?
NCPD, drop your weapons! You're under arrest! Hands where I can see them.
The lighting's good, like the smoke
As you can
effects
see,
too.
which one you choose makes a marked difference to the opening of the game, and from then on, many of the game's stories and much of the dialogue can
I'm
be
in trouble
influenced
now.
by your backstory too. The way you behave, talk to people, and eventually make decisions will no doubt be influenced by how you choose to roleplay V. For this playthrough though, I chose to follow the Corpo route, intrigued by the lore of the Arasaka body tricked out with top-of-the-line, military-grade cyberware. And it all feels great at first, but things quickly turn against me, eventually forcing me into a little apartment in the Hayward district working with Jackie. It's here that the 3 individual stories would join up, the Nomad having found its way from the Badlands into the city-state of Night City, and the Street Kid returning to their neon darkness birthplace after spending 2 years away somewhere else. But like CD Projekt's Witcher 3, the decision-making won't stop there, and everything you do becomes part of a huge web of decisions that may or may not have immediate or long-lasting effects on the characters you interact
Replayability.
with. Even in the first 4 hours, you meet so many interesting characters that you're immediately wrapped up in Night City's world.
Say I wanted a drink named after me. What would I have to do?
Snuff it. Mind-blowingly spectacular fashion. Mid-up would be best.
The opening 4 hours are a colourful barrage of drama that includes a fall from grace, double crosses, sex, and a whole lot of violence. Cyberpunk 2077 isn't afraid to drop you right in the middle of things, but interestingly, each mission has so many layers that you'll seemingly be rewarded for leaving no stone unturned, or at least exploring more. An optional objective early on involving some corpo shills opens up an entirely new dialogue path, and a story thread that would have ultimately been left dormant. The same goes for discovering clues in the Batman Arkham-esque braindance sections, where you use a kind of futuristic VR device to relive recorded memories and moments, with the ability to rewind, fast forward, pause and probe the footage to find clues and information. Switching between visual, audio and heat signature layers makes for an interesting gameplay mechanic, which when combined with the options for incredibly satisfying gun and melee combat along with stealth and hacking, means there are plenty of avenues to explore in the way that you play. Of course, the idea for optional extras and missions was something explored in The Witcher 3 too, but Cyberpunk adds that additional layer from the backstory choice you make before you've even started crafting your V. Additional dialogue is unlocked depending on whether you've come from the streets or the corporate high-rises, gaining you new info and potential storylines that would otherwise be inaccessible. I'm already foreseeing a second, potentially third playthrough in my future to see just how
So
different
cool to see the city in the background like that.
depending on their origin story. There are also plenty of dialogue options available depending on where you've spread your skill points, and thankfully that level of freedom and creativity is reflected in the character creation tools too. This might actually be the first time true human diversity is reflected in the options you're given for building your character. You're given a choice of body type rather than being male or female, and opt for a female or male voice regardless. I opted for a female body, and after working my way through hairstyles, piercings, eye types, cybernetics and more, I was presented with several options for how my nipples should look, including the choice not to have any at all. But then, much to my surprise, the camera pans down and I'm presented with a fully naked V. Genitalia options are next on my list, including a jiggling range of penises, a vagina, or simply nothing at all. With 5 core attributes to bulk out: body, physical strength, reflex, speed, intelligence, smarts, technical, hacking, and cool, stealth and street smarts, and multiple perk trees within each one. The RPG leveling is seriously creative business and really lets you dial in on exactly what you want your V to be like. And it's clear that this is exactly what the game was built for. CD Projekt Red has merely given us the tools with Cyberpunk 2077 to create our own stories in amongst that of their own. I just can't wait to see what else Night City has to offer.
To Night City.
It looks so
and
good.
And the afterlife. Ha ha!
Uh-oh. Restream is restarting for some reason. Okay, fist fighting looks jank as fuck. Need to tighten it up. And that's actually, I thought it looked pretty decent when I watched the gameplay, but it did sometimes seem kind of janky, like you're saying. And it does, from what I just saw, look a lot like what I saw a year ago. So I don't know if we're going to actually see that much of a difference when the game releases, specifically with how close we are to the release of the game. Insane detail, I agree. What's up, Nick? I like how in the character creator the underwear was pixeled out, but the nude tit wasn't. The nude tit. Dude, what are you fucking doing here to me right now? Get your shit together. Tablet, please. Thank you. Yeah, that's kind of weird, but I wonder how they're going to handle it on PS4 and PS5. Because unless you're Naughty Dog, you can't show stuff like that. So hopefully they'll open up to it. The fucking full-on customization of genitalia is fucking crazy. Penis and vagina combinations confirmed. The fuck. I mean, the option's there if you want it. So glad I can get rid of my nips. I mean, I think we all are. I think if there's one thing we're all just trying to get rid of in life, it's our nips. Information overload. Well, good night. Thanks for another awesome stream. See you in the next one. Thanks for hanging out. I'm glad you enjoyed. The future is nip-free. It's a nip-free future. CD Projekt Red have said that they are uncompromising in their vision and will not settle for any censorship regardless of rating like Australia or anything. So expect full genitalia. Oh, I expect it. I'll be playing on PC. But yeah, I'm just curious to see how Sony handles it, because anime girls, side boob, not good. But someone strip getting railed from behind, fully mocap sex scene with tits. As long as you're a favored developer, that's fine. Hypocrisy's a motherfucker. Okay, so let's see if I can find the Jeff Keighley. What is this thing? Is it Is it just the Game Awards? Where's he doing his oh, there it is. Live now. Okay.
Hacking was another thing that's really interesting, and the hack.
True ironic how the Switch has a no censorship policy and showed the side boobs and everything. Yeah, it's weird. It's fucking Nintendo.
Good morning, everybody.
But Sony opts to censor.
Welcome
yeah, I don't like it.
Night City Wire for Cyberpunk 2077.
I don't like censorship in general, though. So
I'm here in LA, and we are excited to get things started.
Like you've been hitting the fucking tanning bed a little bit, Jeff.
A rundown of what's going to happen. We are going to watch Night City Wire live here in about 13 minutes. So that's going to be about a 25-minute presentation from CD
Bro, I already
Projekt
watched
Red.
it. I want to hear what you got to say about it.
If you're watching on the regular channels, what you're going to miss is what comes after. And I'm going to come back because I got to play through the game for over 4 hours yesterday, and I'm going to be able to talk about it at 9:30 Pacific, so sort of like...
Play all my visual novels and anime games on the Switch. Smart idea.
I think is the end of Night City Wire, and guys, this is going to be hard, but we're going to have to wait 5 minutes for me to tell you what it's like playing Cyberpunk 2077. I gotta be official. It's 9:25, and we gotta wait till 9:30.
So it was 9:30 when the embargo
What did you
ended.
guys
Okay,
think?
that makes sense.
I guess
Because
I
as
could
soon as
talk
it
about
ended, I
stuff
looked
that
and there
was
was
in
nothing.
video, right? First of all, I'm gonna reveal that I played as a corpo in my playthrough. So that is what I'm gonna be talking about in 5 minutes. I'll tell you that much. Got to see a new trailer for the game. We heard about the anime that they're doing, which is pretty cool. And then, you know, Braindance is something that you saw in there.
As much as I don't want to fucking listen to IGN, it's info.
Of that, which is really, really unique and interesting. And again, I probably should just talk about it, but it's like I feel like I have to wait 5 minutes. But that's what you saw there, and the scrubbing back and forth, and the different filters and whatnot.
Yeah,
it's really,
fucking Games Radar released their shit early.
In a Batman game or something, as you can see, which is an interesting part of the game. So that was kind of the.
I got time to listen to Jeff. I got time to watch
of the game. So
IGN
you know,
shit.
They confirmed, as we know, coming November 19th, it's going to work on the new generation of consoles.
Keely's still cool, dude. Change my mind, dude. Okay, so
you know,
I have like lost faith in almost all of
seen that event and knowing the
like
footage I'm about
gaming
to show you
publications
guys in a
and
couple minutes,
journalism,
is that there's actually a lot
and I feel
more
like most people have. That's why
gameplay.
people on
They talked about
YouTube
the
do
prologue and the
better than
trailer
them
where
now.
we got to
But
play
Jeff
was
Keely's
starting
still one of
right
like
at
the
the beginning
last
of the game,
fucking
as well as
bastions of
Slice,
just
like halfway through,
passionate
rated
gamers
our
who have
character,
connections, who are
talked
just
about that. I
there
talked
for the
about all the
games, who want to
choices
talk
we
about the
made.
games. I love Jeff Keely. I love what he does. There's very few people like him still, who are just there for the games, there for fucking people who want to hear about the games. His passion for games just bleeds through everything that he fucking does. So I agree with you. I think he's a fucking cool dude.
What it's like for
There's
the
no
symmetries,
weird facade
the
to him at all.
playstyles,
He's
all that
not.
stuff
He's not a piece of shit.
What we'll be talking about. So what I like is that
Skillup released
the
his
first
thoughts
hands-on
after
wasn't
playing.
like play it for 10
It
minutes and you
seems
get to see that this
the hype
works.
is deserved.
We really got like a
The hype
4-hour
is
full-on
deserved.
experience of the first part of the game. Got to kind of do whatever we wanted in that world within the limits of kind of, you know, obviously what you can do in 4 hours. But it was the full game that we got to check out.
Skillup didn't even like The Last of
really
Us.
nice. So in 3 minutes, I'll be able to show you 26 minutes of footage from that playthrough and talk to you guys about it. So we've got a ton of footage there. We got some new screenshots that I'm gonna tweet on in 3 minutes here. So anyways, and as I said, Night City Wire, this is just the first of many events that CD Projekt Red is going to be doing. It sounds like the next one's going to be in a couple of weeks. So sounds like there's more coming for Summer Game Fest.
Skillup was going to say what he thinks for sure. He was controversial about Last of Us. Controversial. It's so fucking ridiculous. He just wasn't into it. And so many people were pissed at him. I'm like, dude,
I got to create my
not everybody has to fucking like the same thing. I get it in this shit all the time, though. It's crazy how people think that fucking people who don't like something are negative and are bad.
Night City that I got
It's like,
to
no,
check
motherfucker.
out.
Everybody has
Some
preferences.
Characters, we'll talk about those.
It's like if I said I didn't like a food you like, and you're like, oh, you're one of those people, huh? You're fucking negative.
And like,
they're just negative. They're just haters. It's so stupid. It's fucking mind-numbing.
Like
it's child shit. It's fucking.
Some of the quests I'll be able to talk about.
Can't stand it.
Can't stand each playstyle and backstory actually dramatically changes the start of the game. So my Corpo playthrough is very different than probably some media that picked as Nomad. Or
he got
Kids,
canceled among a specific group of people who are no matter what diehard gonna fucking talk up
that's all
The Last of Us
I'll
Part
be able
2.
to kind of talk about here in it looks like about 1 minute. So,
other than that, I think a lot of people appreciated
guys.
somebody with a different opinion. That's something I talked to Dean Takahashi about. I was like, dude, people are sick of fucking hearing the same opinion from everybody. It's boring
to me, so I'm gonna give like a little preamble here.
But I'm also somebody who follows people on YouTube and Twitter who I don't agree with, because I want to hear opinions everywhere. I'm curious about them.
This is just footage that they provided to us of a playthrough. So some of it is from the Corpo path, but some of it is from the other paths. So I haven't actually played those parts, but we'll at least be able to talk about them. And I
agree. I mean, his critique wasn't even bashing it. Dude, he was so fucking fair. He was so fair. I mean, he literally said all the things that were positive about it, specifically in the gameplay, and even though he was critical of that it does feel like the first game, which it does kind of. It has a couple things that are better, obviously, but it plays very much like the original. Like,
my impressions of it. So it's 9:29.
Which I know a lot of people are going to argue it should. It's the sequel, and I agree 100%. But it does feel dated, kind of, and it's specifically, he was right too about enemy pathing. It's predictable. They just repeat the same thing over and over again. You'd expect more from that.
Yesterday, but I have to say, I was.
But he was beyond fair. That was a very fair assessment, a very fair opinion given.
The world and the characters, it is just dripping with.
Skillup gave very valid reasoning and explained his reasoning for what he didn't like. Agreed. Dean Takahashi is my spirit animal, though. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Amazing job. Bring it to life.
As long as you're playing games better,
every character you meet.
Wow, that's not hard to do.
Look
but
at their costumes.
As long as he's just in spirit, that's good. Opinions bad or good, we need them all.
It really has the same.
I mean, Cody, you know me. I'm fucking all about
a GTA
all the opinions.
In this cool, rich new setting.
Exactly. He even said on Twitter, "Don't use my review as an example. Please go out." Yeah, exactly.
Really
don't miss a potential don't miss a potential masterpiece. He wasn't telling people not to buy it. And it's stupid that this even has to be said.
Because there is so much to
like, I get so annoyed nowadays when people have to explain this simple shit.
A Corpo. That was the kind of choice I picked for my V. I got to design my character. I played as a male V.
I feel like a lot of people, this is kind of a negative opinion, but I truly feel like this. I think a lot of people just kind of go through their life like this.
That's all true, and you're literally in there, like, choosing what you, like, it's like everything is, like, in there in the character creator. I didn't spend a ton of time there because I wanted to get to the gameplay.
And then someone goes,
but that was something.
Hey, this is an opinion. They're like, whoa, I like that one. And then they go off on that. That's why if you challenge them on their opinions, a lot of times they can't elaborate because they didn't come to that conclusion on their own.
Some gameplay here, but
they sure as fuck pull their flag out, fucking plant it, and fight for it.
There's so many options here in the customization. And
I just did my first no-death run in Dark Souls 2. On NG +9, frigid outskirts included. I'm a real gamer girl again.
Keep in mind, I picked the Corpo path.
That's pretty fucking intense.
And that Corpo path.
Here's a hot take. Here's a hot take that people won't agree with. I fucking love Dark Souls 2. I love it. I think it's probably my favorite Dark Souls. Even though Dark Souls 3 is fantastic. I love all the Dark Souls games, but Dark Souls 2 I just have such an affinity for.
Cyberpunk, and we'll just
I know a lot of people hate Dark Souls 2 compared to the first and third.
And this is
okay. I'm gonna shut up for a second.
Gameplay. So one of the things that I was really excited about is that I got to drive in this game.
It looks so fucking cool at night.
I think is really important is, you know, how vibrant is the world? What is it like to play? Is it truly an open world?
Though I am noticing you're not really seeing anybody on the street.
Walk around the town. You can go and carjack a car. You can drive from location to location. I mean, it is very GTA-like,
and the vehicles are there now, but it didn't seem like they were loaded in before.
It just felt like a place that you wanted to be in and you wanted to play and be a part of. So driving felt really good. A lot of people probably want to know what is the shooting like, what is that experience like. I'll talk about that because I got to play through a pretty big combat scenario.
Electric coupling module.
I think they all have their
There was
strengths.
nothing serious when I came.
But for some reason,
basically play through
the world
and again,
of Dark Souls 2. I just love.
So this is the this looks like is a nomad playthrough.
But I love all three of them. Don't get me wrong. Don't fucking do not misunderstand me. I love all the Dark Souls games.
Three different sort of life choices or backstories. Everyone gets a different initial start to the game.
I'm gonna pause real fast because I want to read this. Dark Souls 2 is the shit. Yeah, I fucking love that game. Although a lot of people have their complaints about it. I get it. I agree. I spend so much time discussing opposing opinions on games that I love, like people who hate Death Stranding. I stand there, listen to their arguments, then disagree and formulate my counter. I don't whine about it. I try to dismiss them. You'll never catch me whining about opinions. Like, it's just I guess I'm on a different level when it comes to that. My brain doesn't work that way. I think a lot of these people live in an echo chamber 100%, but they're also fed their opinions a lot of times. Because a lot of these people will just get their opinion overnight out of nowhere, and discussing with them, they're relaying talking points. Because when you expand on it, they can't do it. And it's not because they're incapable of it, they have not earned the opinion. They didn't come to it on their own. So they're left without all the nuances to have that opinion. I'm pretty big on like debate and stuff. I like debating people. Obviously, I don't do it with this channel, and I never will. But it's something I've learned about a lot of people who are really passionate, want to fight about things. A lot of times they haven't gotten to what they're arguing about on their own, so they get frustrated because they can't back what they're saying. Shut themselves off from opposing views 100%, but that's just the way things are in the last 6 years for sure. And don't even engage with it. I think a real issue is that due to the lack of interaction they have, this insecurity in their own taste, just because someone dislikes it and points out potential flaws. Well, people don't want to feel like they're wrong. But you're not wrong. People got to realize your opinion is your opinion, and diversity in opinion is fucking amazing. I would literally shoot myself if fucking everyone had the same opinion. It's the bastard stepchild for sure. Dark Souls 2 is, yeah. For some reason, it has this whole thing to it that makes it feel like people just kind of shoo it into the fucking basement when the family comes around. I don't even see a reason why you can't accept that some games have problems. Like, I adore Dark Souls 2, Skull of the First Sin, but I'll admit it was very obvious issues, or it has very obvious issues with its design and lacks some polishing, but it's still fantastic. Yeah, even though I'm a purist, I like the original Dark Souls 2 more than Skull of the First Sin. Just because I played it so much and loved it so much that they changed it. I'm like, no, this isn't the game. It's neat, though. I like it. It's just not... It's not the same game. Well, Vendrick is doper than Gwyn, for sure. Two things people don't want. People don't think they're wrong. Yeah. And their entertainment to be argued inferior to others. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And that's not to, talk my channel up or anything like that, but that's something I just strive so fucking hard to encourage people to literally, like, every time I talk on the show about anything, I'm like, dude, tell me if you don't like it. Just give me a thorough fucking, give me your thoughts on what you didn't like about it or what you did like about it. Like, I want to hear it all, man. I love opinions when people don't like shit. If you don't like a food, tell me why you don't like it. Oh, you're not into sushi? Why is that? Like, I'm not going to go, what the fuck? I like that. I can't believe you don't agree with me. I don't give a shit. Like, fuck, I'd rather hear why you don't like or like something than just have you agree with everything I say. Shit's boring. Makes my dick soft.
Which again, like, you think of the scale of an RPG that is this big, the fact that these origin stories are entirely unique for each player is like just baffles me. So the Nomad playthrough, just so you know, the Nomads are, you're kind of more of a lone wolf. You're kind of on the outskirts of the city, this place called the Badlands, and you're off the grid. Right?
Dude, look how detailed this is.
You are a nomad.
I love how intricate
so
it
that's
is.
sort of what that playthrough was. The other
Every vehicle so far
option
has
I
like
didn't
had like a
pick was
different
Street
feel to it.
And you're sort of, as you would imagine, kind of like you've got cred, you've got connections.
To me, movies, books, games, all this stuff is great, but it's just trivial. Nothing to ride or die over. Like when Doom Eternal came out, I searched out videos criticizing it and people that thought it sucked more than people praising it. If you're wrong or have a different opinion, you shouldn't be afraid to speak up. There needs to be more safe spaces for
Those are three
conversations.
potential backstories that you
Well, I mean, there's people out there who just think they're fucking right about what they're talking about, and it's because they're not getting challenged. They're not talking to people. They just live in this vacuum of fucking, I'm morally just and this is the way it is. But they're too afraid to fucking be challenged because their opinion's not built off a strong foundation. But just so many people, it's insane.
You'll find that
even if you could be right, you can't formulate how you are, and so you're easily toppled by somebody who might be better suited to have that. It's like I've been in debates with people. I'm like, you're not suited for this. Find someone better. You're not able to fucking have this, and I'm wasting my time talking with you about this.
But the scale of the world really blew
I love
me
it,
away.
but wanted to hear the other side more.
Blew me away. And
For
it's
sure.
just a place that you want to live in. And again, I love how fresh it feels, and that may seem kind of weird in a way, but it's just like so many games now. I feel like we have sort of either they're a sequel or they're kind of like you can feel the forefathers of other games in them, and it's like, yeah, sure, it's slightly different. But it's not necessarily, they're a different sort of gameplay style. And this game just feels like...
Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of criticism out there. No one fucking crucify me for this. I'm not seeing people walking around when you're driving.
And I really just, I wanted
which
to
isn't a deal breaker, obviously. This is my most hyped game.
Feeling, I think, because there are not many games
but,
these days that have that level
I hope they can fix that.
And the voice acting and the characters... super compelling, and every character I met, you were like, I want to know more about this character. I want to know their backstory. I want to understand more about them. It's not like, oh, here, some games is like there's a tier of characters which are really
that guy's lit himself on fucking fire.
Just kind of like the NPCs. Like everything here feels so well designed. Now this is some kind of combat, so again, this is not a sequence that I played, but let me talk a bit about what the combat feels like.
That was a huge blast radius.
This is a first-person game, and first-person RPG, right? So it's more in the vein of back in the day, like a System Shock or a BioShock.
I love how it
the
seems.
Gameplay to me felt good, but it's kind of a slower and more methodic style of gunplay than a game like a Doom.
Yeah, it does look slow. It doesn't look run and gun, which is fine. But maybe you'll have upgrades that allow you to get a little more fast-paced. What I was gonna say is, it seems like every area has they're big enough that they have multiple ways of entering for different styles, which is fucking. Which is cool.
Heavily action-oriented.
It really kind of makes me sad because I like the Deus Ex games, the last two. I really like them.
And I played it again
but this game makes them obsolete because what they were trying to do, this game is doing on such a bigger scale.
Judge it, and I want to be honest with you guys about that.
Doing what they do on a bigger scale, let alone the rest of what this game is, that the game wasn't even trying to do. That I can't see them making a third Deus Ex unless like
style of gunplay
and gaining new fans unless they really up the bar on it.
Felt like it was.
The multipath, like being able to kind of decide the way you want to do the mission type thing. This is doing on such a fucking bigger scale, and it's also Cyberpunk.
Playing it, but it was very responsive. The combat
that just kind of makes that format feel obsolete.
The combat also
because Deus Ex has that like 3-path system of like you can stealth, hack, or fight your way through missions, but it was like very linear feeling.
Just balls to the wall action as you would kind of expect in it. This is a Street Kid playthrough. Footage of this sequence.
Oh my fucking god! Why are you hating on the game? Oh, I'm gonna get you canceled.
Myself.
I'm gonna get you canceled.
As well. We'll get to the corpo footage.
Fucking cancel me, dog.
The combat felt really good to me, and it felt super cool. This is Jackie, a character that is featured in all of the playthroughs, and he's kind of really with you in the prologue and sort of the first chapter of the game.
Never heard of thieves'
Jackie
honor.
is a super cool
Finders
guy.
keepers. I was first. Listen,
only one or two
sort
ways
of
to do this.
you grow to know him no matter what life path you choose. And
so the mocapping in every part seems really good, which is impressive, but also the voice acting is good too. I don't know. I'm fucking. I'm saying that as if it's like a new thing, but it's just like it's a constant thing I'm seeing. I was kind of worried in the beginning that only certain parts would feel like that, but I'm not seeing parts that don't feel like that, which is really fucking cool.
With him is different based on which kind of playthrough that you have. And there are also some characters that I got to experience in my playthrough as Corpo, which are different.
Okay, so then you play Mankind Divided. I forgot I have it. Mankind Divided is so fucking good. I think it's my game of the year that year it came out. It's much better than the first one. And first one meaning the newer games.
Completely different missions based on life paths. So you really sort of get 3 games here. In one, and obviously they intersect at certain points, but you can do 3 unique playthroughs with different stories.
Look at the smoke around his fucking body.
Which is just is kind of insane to me to see. I think everyone obviously gets the same core missions. The brain dance that we'll talk about when we get to footage of that was a really interesting experience, sort of playing through that. But again, everyone has sort of different parts. The prologue of the game is really sort of the first part that we got to play. As they said, the trailer and whatnot came from that prologue piece.
Yeah, it seems like everything we've seen so far has come from that.
That is, I think I believe everyone has the same first mission in the prologue, which is the pickup.
Yeah, Bob actually told me to.
That's
good. Did you pick up Get the Fuck Out?
The character of Jackie, who I don't think we've seen in the footage yet. But Jackie, you'll hear more about.
Jackie,
so Jackie and V basically team up, and they're kind of together for the prologue. One thing is Keanu Reeves' character, Johnny Silverhand, I didn't even get to see or experience in what I got to play. It was really primarily like Jackie and V are kind of the team that kick things off. So Jackie and V basically start the game and go through a lot of the prologue together as plans, and they're looking to kind of enter the mercenary world in Night City, and then Dexter Sean, who you guys saw I think last year in the E3 trailer, guy big smoking cigarettes, stuff like that. He works with them, and they kind of work together on this sort of initial heist. So that's sort of something that they need to kind of figure out and work together on. And that's really where sort of like things start out. Everyone has a bit of a different playthrough based on kind of who you are, but you make choices, and that's the thing is with this game, like there are multiple ways to go through things. There's side missions, like you would expect from a CD Projekt Red RPG. There are lots of choices that you get to make as you kind of play through. I did that mission, and then the mission that I got to do with a lot of gameplay was the All Foods Factory. And that was very combat oriented. That I'll get to talk about if we get to show some footage of that. But it's you can stealth through a factory, you can engage in combat, you can shoot your way out, you can go a bunch of different ways, but there are definitely some stealth things, and there's a pretty fun training mission. Here's Lizzie's bar, which you get to go to. This is something I did get to play as, and you get to chat with her. You can see some of the dialogue with her, but I mean the character design is like phenomenal. And it's not just 3 of the characters are this cool, like literally every character you
How long is that? God, why does it keep doing that?
Just sort of sense of style, fashion, and like the world is so
anyway, what I was saying is Get the Fuck Out.
Really well done.
I bought it and I tried to play it on my own, and like 2 minutes, okay, ain't bad. And I'd already looked it up and seen that it's definitely a multiplayer game, but
actually this is the footage that we saw in Night City.
It's definitely a co-op game.
This is a really interesting.
So, I was like, fuck, I gotta wait till other people get it because I don't want to play with random people. But also, it seems like a fun experience. But I hope they add. I think they're gonna add more to it, like progression type stuff, because it seems like a game like Left 4 Dead. Like once you've done the missions enough, you might get burnt out on it. So hopefully they kind of add something to make it interesting. Also, we need to hop back into Hunt soon because the 1.4.1 patch is officially out. It's not in test servers anymore. So dual wielding's in the game, and there's also trials mode where you can get blood bonds or what the fuck they're called. It's pretty neat. I tried it in the test server, but I didn't want to play it too much because it seemed useless.
You can basically rewind and fast forward through
to play it and lose all my progress. But I'm ready to play more Hunt.
Sorry, I gotta take a swig of water. You can zoom in on things, and then basically analyze them to get additional clues. So there were 2 brain dance sequences that I got to check out.
2 brain dance sequences
in the game. This is one of the first ones, and it's a different type of gameplay, right? It really is like investigation and discovery across multiple layers. And right now, as I played it, it's a little challenging sometimes because you definitely are hunting. You're kind of extra hunting in a way to sort of try and figure out things. And you'll know that you have to go to the thermal layer, right? And you're like searching for an object or a clue. So like in one of the other brain dance sequence, you're looking for this kind of chip or clue somewhere in the world, and you know it's in the thermal layer. They'll tell you that. You kind of have to like watch the sequence, and sometimes the camera. In this,
I haven't put those ashes to good use yet. I'm very down with the clown.
Brain dance works.
Yeah, dude, I'm fucking down too. We should play.
So as these characters move, you'll sort of go out of signal or range, and this is the audio layer here, right? So you can see that there's some audio clues that are highlighted. You can kind of zoom into those, and this is kind of how you discover things in the game.
So, everybody watching right now, if you want, let me know, how excited are you for this feature in the game? Like, are you super into it? Are you kind of like whatever about it, or are you kind of like, I don't want to do that?
See the sequence from multiple different ways. And
again, I'm not like super pumped on it. I'm pumped on the idea of it. I'm pumped that people will be able to do this, and certain people are gonna love it, and I'm gonna definitely want to use it. But I'm not like, oh my god, I love this so much. I love that it's in the game because it's more shit to do, but it's definitely cool.
Going back to sort of these brain dances.
Like 3 out of 10. Yeah, okay. I mean, that's kind of where I kind of thought people would be. Some people I figure would be super into it. Other people are gonna be like, I don't know.
And that's an addition, obviously.
Because in a game like this, you're gonna want to. Some people specifically, I guess, are gonna be more like, I just want to play and make my choices, level up, and get cool gear and shit.
A different, what you would expect from this, right?
I
think the brain dance
PNG, motherfucker.
So, brain dance, as they sort of said, is the most popular form of entertainment in the world, and it's sort of kind of I think came out of kind of a porn background, but allows you to basically replay memories, right? And I mean, part of this game is about genetic modification and technology, so it makes sense for this to sort of be a part of it. But it's basically the commercial production of memories. So as you can imagine, this brain dance editing suite is the way you're going to sort of like gain knowledge and information on characters and whatnot kind of throughout the world. So you kind of become an investigator as V and get to see through these. So again, this is kind of the kind of robbery in effect sequence that you get to go through, and you're kind of analyzing and figure things out. So again, it reminds me of some of the Batman games, some of the investigations that you would do in those, kind of piecing together clues. And then there's another one, I don't know if they're going to show footage of, that I got to play through in my playthrough that was sort of after that. And this was in Act 1, so it was a little bit further past the initial prologue stuff that I got to play through.
Alright, let's go to a different preview.
Combat sequence that I got to play out. So again,
Jeff Keighley is just very intricate. What is this?
Okay. This video is brought to you by NVIDIA and Eno 3D graphics cards. Okay, so I played 5 hours of Cyberpunk. It was fucking awesome. I'm going to tell you all about it. I just want to say this video is going to be pretty chill though. I'm actually moving house tomorrow. I played like 5 hours of Cyberpunk today. It's now like 9 o'clock because I just recorded my layman video. You can see like my whole house is kind of empty now because we're about to move. This video is rushed, but I wanted to get out this video on time just to share my thoughts because Cyberpunk is definitely the real deal. Having played it, I had my doubts given the trailer and how good it looked.
Not me.
They have delivered, so let me show you Cyberpunk, or at least talk about it because it's so good.
Well, I'm sold.
Money now, or I will
let's talk firstly about what I played, what I experienced, and how that all worked, okay? I played for 5 hours. I was running on local hardware. Some of the tests that you would have seen would have been on GeForce Now from other content creators, other outlets and whatever else. I played on a 2080 Ti and some sort of CPU. I don't know. It was a good one. I played on an Xbox controller. I was not allowed to play on keyboard and mouse. That was the basics. There are actually 3 starting areas for this game, and they each have their own kind of sequence that takes about 30 to 40 minutes to play through before you get onto the main sort of like, you know, the open world and the main quest and whatever else, the main campaign. I played through all 3 of the starting areas just so I could see them all, and then I also played
the Jacking In song.
Okay.
Yeah, they got a bunch of actual.
Let's talk first about character creation. Yes, you can create your own character. You will select body type. You will select the voice for that body type.
Pretty fucking
there is a ton of customization available. Obviously, like hairdos and scars and tattoos, and there's like the digital kind of stuff that they have jammed into their skin and whatever. There's the teeth. For some reason, you can have pink teeth in this game. I don't know why that's a thing, but it's a thing. It doesn't have the facial molding stuff, at least not what I could see. Maybe I missed it. I was kind of going through it kind of quick. But look, there's plenty of customization there. You're going to be able to make your own unique character that you like, but it's not like triple S tier customization like you would have seen in some of these crazy MMOs or whatever. It's just pretty damn good. In this process, you'll also select your starting stats. It matters, obviously. There's things like, you know, body, which is about your health and your strength and all that sort of stuff. Weapon proficiency. There's reflexes, which helps you with certain types of weapons. I won't get into all the detail of that. You've seen that sort of stuff in RPGs before. It's very similar here. I think there were 6 or 7 core stats, and it's, you know, what you'd expect. What was very interesting is that you got to select one of 3 different backstories, and that actually has a fairly significant impact on your playthrough. 1, because of your starting area, and 2, because that choice actually affects the rest of your gameplay in terms of your interactions with others, dialogue options, etc., etc. The first one I played through was Corpo or something like that. It was the corporate sort of starter story, and you're in a big Shinra Tech kind of building, and you're meeting with some big hotshot, and he's telling you to do some secret, you know, corporate espionage mission because he wants to knock off one of his rivals for a promotion, and you know, so you go through that. It ends up taking you out into the city, into a bar, and eventually, you know, stuff goes down, and then you find yourself in the main quest. So that whole thing took about 30 minutes. That was one story. The other one that I played through next was the Nomad story, which starts outside of Night City in this desert area, which just looks stunning, by the way, like stunning. And you're there fixing a car, and the local sheriff is giving you some grief, and eventually you catch up with someone because you're trying to smuggle something across the border into Night City. The authorities catch you, and they're like chasing you, massive car scene. It was so good. Yeah, really great starting sequence. Love that one. And then the third one was kind of like a street kid. You know, you're starting out in the slums, and you literally start by sort of like you're looking in a mirror, and your nose is broken, and you have to like kind of like fix your nose, which is, you know,
like heist scene. And
anyway, it turns out your friend has got mixed up with the wrong people, and you kind of need to boost a car to help get him out of trouble. And shit goes down, and again, just awesome stuff. Really great breakneck kind of introductions to these worlds. One of them in the sort of upper echelons of corporate society, one down in the slums, just sort of like, you know, scraping to live, and the other one outside of Night City entirely, and just all of them were just awesome. Absolutely love them. And yeah, within the next 30 minutes, you're into the main quest line, and things continue from there. So this is a good time to pause and talk about just the visual design of this game. I mean, like, just... I can't imagine what it would be like being a CD Projekt Red artist and having to create all of the things they've created. Like, essentially the way to think about it is, we know that video games, when they're single player linear games, they have more detail in them because they're very sort of like narrow experiences with a small number of NPCs and a small number of environments, so they can afford to really go the extra mile on the environmental detail and player detail, whatever else, okay? Imagine that level of detail, but kind of like across an open world game. I mean, every space I encountered was just so unbelievably striking. In terms of just the environment design and each of the NPCs populating those environments, the clothes that they're wearing, the graffiti and the different sort of paneling and lighting and smoke and fog, and just like I mean, I was just walking around the starting area, the corporate headquarters. I wasn't even pushing fully forward on this analog stick because I wanted to walk slowly to take it in. It's really stunning what they have done here. And oh my god, this loading sequence I went through when like I left the corporate building and then I had to fly out, and it was like a masked loading sequence, okay? So I'm in this car and I can just look out the window, but I can see this entire city out there, and just seeing it sort of scroll by, and then it just seamlessly transitions and I land and I'm in the thick of it and I can just walk out into it. And man, it's just, as I said,
that does look fucking
these
cool.
artists are geniuses, and the amount of work that they have put in to create a space this big and this diverse. It's so diverse. Like, it's anyway, I'm getting overexcited. But look, visually, this is one of the most ambitious games I've ever seen. Incredible, and I can't wait for you guys to see it and just like walk around in it yourself. As I said, I was very skeptical about how it would actually turn out versus the trailers. On PC, it's 90% there. I would say 90% because I don't think the world is quite as populated as we saw in those trailers. It doesn't have as many people, but like only like 10%.
Yeah, I didn't think it would. There's no fucking way.
You still walk out there and it looks stunning. I will flag though, I wonder how well this will run when we are talking about like consoles. You know, I wonder how this runs on the Xbox.
And running like that on
fucking
fucking
top of the line PC consoles. And getting beautiful performance, but I don't know about consoles. I guess performance is a good thing to talk about as well. I was running it at 1080p,
really
silky smooth 60 frames
really
a second
curious
at
what this
least,
game's gonna look like
with
on fucking
ray
PS4
tracing
and Xbox
enabled.
One.
I will talk more about ray tracing at the end of this video in a sponsored block, so keep that in mind. But with ray tracing enabled, I was still getting solid 60, 70, 80 frames a second. It was just beautiful. And yeah, we'll talk about ray tracing. So these starting areas that you go through, you don't do a lot of fighting in those. It's very cutscene driven, okay? After that, when you get to the main quest line, the one that's shared across everyone, everyone will experience it, you then go through combat tutorials.
I have the Super Ultimate Edition pre-order for PS4, just because it's the only one I could get my hands on at the time.
I didn't love the hacking.
Which comes with like
it's difficult to really explain it without just getting bogged down in detail.
Figurine
but essentially, it just didn't really flow.
But I am going to buy it on
quite
PC
a few different
because I want to play it at the highest graphics.
Menu options, and then they boot you to a different screen, and you input a thing, and then you come back and you have to do something else and whatever else.
I'm
it could be really great if after 5 or 6 hours, lots of different options open up, and you're really used to those menus, and you can make interesting things happen. At the very beginning, though, I don't get to experience that. So for that reason, I didn't love that. Kind of bounced off a little bit. But look, we'll see. Obviously, reserving judgment.
Yeah,
the stealthing is okay. I did notice that the enemies they sort of have one of the indicators above their head, and you know, if they see you for too long, it fills up and they've spotted you. They seem quite blind. You know, you're only sort of 15 feet away from them, and they're sort of like squinting at you and whatever. I've seen it before.
Like an alternate
love
way
that
to play
stuff.
the game.
But look,
I like
it is what it is. It's there. I've got the impression that stealth wasn't exactly breaking new ground. However, there might be all sorts of other stealth
to deviate from that experience.
There was the melee stuff, which is kind of like 3-hit combo, you know, boxing.
It just doesn't hit the same.
That was fine as well. There was a sword though that I got to use at one point, which didn't feel good. The sword combat just felt very kind of, it just lacked weight. It just felt unsatisfying. Don't know if they'll do further work on that, but that wasn't great. And then there was a shooting. You know what? I really love the shooting. Played with an Xbox controller. There was a lot of auto aim.
I love all Dark Souls.
A lot of auto aim kicking in. I did ask the developers about that. They confirmed that's optional and you can turn it off. When I play on console though, I like auto aim because I play on PC, mainly keyboard and mouse. My aim with the controller is shit. So I was lapping up the auto aim. It just felt like all my guns stuck to targets like glue. And I just got to focus on having fun and moving through combat rather than like, oh, I missed a headshot.
Like fundamentally they're the same, but some of the systems that are pretty...
So I like that. Guns feel beautiful, great feedback, great recoil, great sound design, great everything. You know, I think a lot of people had concerns about, you know, weapon design or weapon mechanics when
I think it's a big concern. A lot of people have those, the melee combat. I'm glad it's there.
I can tell you right now, I have no issues with anything that I experienced from the pistol and the assault rifle. The only 2 weapons I used, they both handled beautifully, and I'm like, cool, tick. Well done, CD Projekt Red. Just keep doing more of that. This is also a good time to talk about itemization. So obviously there's tons of different weapons to collect. I collected some identical pistols that all had different stats on them. They had different DPS values. They also had different damage types that they applied. They had different mod slots and different types of mods that could be applied to them. And that was just within the first few hours I experienced all that. So I get the impression there's going to be a staggering amount of itemization available. There's also crafting. One thing that kind of disappointed me was that there's no like wardrobe feature. I think we saw a wardrobe feature in like the first trailer or something, where you kind of pull it off the rack and it's got the stats on it, and that's how you do it. You just equip clothes from your inventory now. You can go to your wardrobe in your apartment, but you can't do anything. You can just see there's nothing to input and no prompt.
Yeah,
really bummed out about that. I like that feature, but hey, look, that's nitpicking. So then I went out into the open world stuff, and I started doing the quest that we saw from the 2018 trailer, where I had to, you know, go up the lift and rescue the lady from the bathtub, and then Trauma Team came and rescued her, and had to drive around a bit. It's exactly what it said on the tin. You know, it really was exactly that experience. Graphically, gameplay-wise, the choice that I had in that mission as well, choice is baked very deeply into this game already. From the very beginning, you get tons of dialogue options that will manifestly impact your sort of ways forward in combat scenarios. You know, in that mission alone, I could have
I feel like they did give themselves a pretty good buffer time if they wanted to adjust some of
Jackie was telling me, hey man, just hang back for a bit. I'm like, all right, cool. I took his advice, hid in the corner. 2 of the enemies then left, and I could take them down silently, making the rest of the room easier. Trauma Team, when they came, they're telling me to stay back, and I disobeyed them. They then shot me with a taser, and then Jackie commented on that. He's like, hey man, should have listened to them, should have done what they said. So choice is baked into everything that you do, and the game is built to recognize and reflect that choice at every step.
Cool. Doesn't look like a I want those gold pants. What the fuck?
No, hey, we ain't looking for no beef with you.
But that quest was just exactly, as I said, what you saw in the trailer, except playable, and it was super fun. When that was done, I then got to do some just open world exploration stuff. So I drove around in my car. I don't know what the name of that car is. It probably has an awesome name. I don't know what it is. Driving is great.
I would try and pronounce that, but I feel like I would do a disservice.
You know, you play something like Ghost Recon Breakpoint or Wildlands, and you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. That's not how a car should drive, you know? But this one, as soon as I picked it up, I'm like, yep, cool, this is good.
Yeah, it translates too, because it looks like
if anything, maybe just a little bit too heavy, maybe a little bit too much grip on the road. It could be a little bit lighter, but again, that's nitpicking. I told the developers, I'm like, think this feels fantastic in terms of handling, and they were like, phew, we're really nervous about driving mechanics. We're worried that people will hate them. I don't think you guys will hate
Poland
as well.
Nice.
You can destroy your car. I would play with my brother Sam, and it took us a while. The cars have a lot of health. And we ended up smashing into walls like 30 times, but eventually we managed to blow up the car. And if you're in it, when it explodes, you die. Luckily, we were outside. We then tried to hack another car. Couldn't do it because our hacking skill was too low. So we just shot the driver in the head instead, and that allowed us just to jack the car and drive around with it. And then that was it. Later on, our car that had blown up magically reappeared. So I'm not sure what the lore behind that is, but anyway, our car magically reappears after it blows up. But yeah, world exploration wise, there are obviously your main quests. There are side quests, which are structured quests that you will go through, and then there's also your generic world quests, which are, you know, you walk up to a spot and it's kind of like a randomly populated boss, which is exactly what happened to me. I went there and just some random guy that was there and I was fighting him, you know? So there's different layers of quest and different layers of world objectives. There's also bounty hunts you can do. There's markers all over the map and you can go and pick up any one of those anytime you like. This game really drops you in it very fast. You know, once you've done the opening sort of section for whatever you've chosen, and then you've done like the first main quest, you can pretty much go wherever you like in the city and immediately start doing side quests. They are level gated, so if you're not high enough level yet, you won't be able to do them, but you do have the freedom to go wherever you please, which is nice. Oh, and one other thing, I found the boxing quest. Remember how in The Witcher, Geralt had like the title thing where he would just go around to all the villages and get into boxing matches and beat everyone, and eventually he'd just keep winning and winning? They have the same thing here, and I found it, so there you go. Start fights in the street, and you never know, you might be the champion of Night City, like Geralt. Oh, I also killed some civilians. Turns out you can just kill anyone you see. They'll all run around crazily trying to get away from you, and then eventually the cops will come out if you get a high enough star rating, and they'll just KO you immediately. There was also just momentary altercations happening that I could step into. I was in my apartment building and I saw a guy sort of like, you know, abusing a woman, and eventually he started hitting her, and so I just shot him in the head, and that was that. So you know, you can choose whether or not to intervene in those. You don't have to, but they're just things that are going on in the world that you can, you know, step to if you want. So the next thing I did was another quest that was very narratively driven. This is where I had some problems, okay? I had a really big problem with this quest. And what it is, it's, remember in Detroit Become Human, how you can go to a crime scene and you can actually rewind events and then sort of like play them back and zoom in on certain things to see details, etc. It does the same thing here, only it does it in a way more clunky way, and
August 24th,
takes way
2020.
longer. Okay,
Translated
there were two
in Czech,
sequences
German,
back to back
Hungarian,
where I could review surveillance footage, essentially, or someone's memories, essentially. There were 3 different layers that I could analyze that. There's the visual, there's the audio, and there's
although
the
like
thermal,
the Witcher
and there's a
book series
timeline at the
took
top
forever
for
to come
each
out
of
here
them.
too.
And I kind of need to switch between these 3 layers while watching events unfold and moving the camera around. Like, you are not going to understand how this works until you see it in action. And I will tell you that I played for 5 hours. This was the only time the whole thing I was not having fun.
I'm all about it.
It was
although I've
clunky
not
and slow
read
and
or
cumbersome.
know much
Navigating
about this
the menu
Lunar
took way
trilogy,
too
but
long.
it
It
sounds
was
interesting.
super unclear what I needed to do, and the whole scene that I needed to sort of like pass through just went forever, you know. I hope that I don't have to do too many of these sequences. That's all I'll say. Yeah, they were. It was not fun. But look, you know, maybe the other ones that I experience are in the future are way better. I don't know. These 2 that I experienced back to back were the definite low point for the demo. I definitely have some mixed feelings about narrative as well, and dialogue and how that's flowing for me. You're very much dropped in the deep end of this game straight away, and that's a good thing from a freedom perspective, but I did find it a bit overwhelming because, you know, you're thrown into Night City and it immediately feels like, you know, you've met 30 people as soon as you start, and you've heard 30 different stories and 30 accents, and just a lot comes at you really fast. And I feel like you could have slowed it down a little bit, and it probably would have been better. Obviously, I can't say that definitively yet because I need to see the whole journey and how that 5 hours fits into it. But I definitely felt at times where I was like, whoa, pump the brakes a little bit. Let me get to know this person before I go and meet 10 other people. You know, that was essentially the thought going through my mind. And with dialogue as well, because there were these goals of introducing so many people and so much information, you know, it felt a little bit rushed at times, you know. I'd say a good parallel is something like Blade Runner, right? Blade Runner gives scenes a lot of space to breathe. It's sort of very quiet and you can sort of absorb it. This game is the exact opposite of that. This game is just constantly in your face at you, exposition dumps, new character introductions, just madness 24/7. I'm not sure if that pacing is a good thing because the entire experience is so dense that you kind of don't have time to slow down, or I'm not sure if it will end up hurting the experience because, you know, 50 or 60 hours of something, that level of pace might be a little bit overwhelming. I don't know, too difficult to say yet, but that's definitely something I'm watching. So look, overall,
I feel like that'll be
I have
dependent
to
on how you
say
play though, because I assume
you know,
that's the missions,
just the sheer
the
level of
storytelling.
ambition on display here was
if you're just kind of wandering around
astounding.
doing
You
random
know,
shit,
honestly,
the
the level of visual detail that went into every space I encountered was stunning. The design of every single NPC was incredible. All of the voice
the character
acting
models are
was
fucking
top-notch.
fantastic.
You know, you had 3 distinctly different starting areas. What I saw of the different perk opportunities, the way you can customize your character. I don't even know if I talked about this. If I haven't, there's so many perks that are baked into this game. Wait till you see what is possible in terms of character customization.
It's cool to hear.
It's huge. I don't know, man. It's just, these guys obviously have been working for what, 8-9 years more on this thing. You can see that they have not slouched a day of that. They have just put so much into this. That 5 hours was some of the densest 5 hours I think I've ever had playing video games, just in terms of stuff coming at you. Some people will find that overwhelming. I definitely found it a little bit overwhelming for sure. But more than that, I just found it awe-inspiring because I was like, wow, look at this thing. Imagine experiencing all of this for 50 hours. Imagine what is hidden in the tiny crevices of CD Projekt Red's imagination. Imagine what this city is hiding. Imagine the characters I will meet. Imagine the builds I will build and the moments I'll have. Like, I honestly was thinking that as I was going through it. The CD Projekt Red or the staff member nearby was kind of chuckling, with sometimes I was just like, fuck, man, you know. I don't even meet Keanu Reeves yet. I'm not even up to Keanu and I feel this way. So imagine what happens when I meet him. Anyway, that's my impressions. Wait, those are my impressions of Cyberpunk. It's looking pretty good. so you should probably check it out. One last thing before we go, this part of the video is sponsored by NVIDIA and Inno3D, and
I'm not
invited me to the event because I had a blast and I can't wait to play more. Anyway, that's the video, guys. Thank you very much. See you next time.
Blast. All right, this is 7 minutes. This is the last one we'll watch, and then I gotta get the fuck out of here. But quick reminder for everybody watching now or later, I will be doing a whole other video about this exact same topic and watching this all over again with Chevy. We'll film that later tonight, so that'll either be out tomorrow, or if we decide to live stream it, you guys are obviously invited to come back and hang out, and you will get double the video for this one thing. So yeah, stay tuned for that. But I'm gonna watch this and see what they have to say about it, fucking IGN, and then get out of here because I gotta get, baby's gotta work. All right. The lack of breathing room is something CD Projekt Red confirmed in Night City Wire when they said there is no filler. They meticulously only included everything that would be interconnected and build upon itself. I don't see that as a bad thing. I don't see it as a bad thing either. I see it more so as how they decided to do it and how different people are going to have their impressions of it are going to be different. So like someone who's not ready to be immersed in the game like that might be off put by it. Some people might embrace it. Someone like me who has a past in playing Cyberpunk games and pen and paper, I'm definitely going to like it. Because I don't want to play a game where it's got to like be like, oh, what he said is this thing, haha, like giving you constant like exposition on like trying to explain to you what everything is. It feels game breaking. I just want to be immersed in the world and have to fucking learn and experience it as I go, as it's been existing, as they're trying to portray it's been existing before I even came to the game. You know, hence living, breathing world. If it feels like it just started when I got there, then it feels a bit, it feels like it breaks the immersion a bit. All right, let's watch this. For sure, I'm ready though, because I love immersive RPGs and like you, I'm a huge fan of deep, hard science fiction. Cyberpunk 2077 is a hard science fiction game with lots
origin
of
story
lore
choices
and
for your
world
V,
building.
no matter
I
what
think it'll
gender and
come up
appearance you
naturally.
choose,
I agree.
and how you allocate your initial allotment of skill points. I chose the corporate backstory in order to put myself right in the thick of Night City from the jump, and what I quickly learned is
like
that no
everybody
matter
picked the
where
same
you
fucking
start, there
story.
are so many layers to Cyberpunk 2077 that a 4-hour hands-on session isn't even enough time to scratch the surface of any of it, in a good way.
That's pretty much what I'm hearing. Oh shit, just take
But
the
I
fucking head
nevertheless
off.
learned a lot about what makes Cyberpunk special, as well as what it still needs to work on between now and its new November 19th release date. After agreeing to take out my boss's
Pretty
corporate
much.
rival, Abernathy, my next stop is to meet up with my good pal and crew member, Jackie Wells. It's during Cyberpunk's early
Good
moments,
pal stuff right there,
including
gun in
the
your
AV
face.
ride that conveniently takes you on an aerial tour of part of Night City, that makes clear the #1 most impressive thing about Cyberpunk
Damn, motherfucker, chill
2077 in
out.
its first 4
Driving,
hours.
holy shit.
The absolutely incredible job CD Projekt Red seems to have done on world building. As you'll
Aw,
quickly
yeah,
come
that's
to
what I wanna
see,
hear.
Night City feels both alive and lived in, and its unique districts are just that, genuinely unique. There are people everywhere, from shopkeepers to sex workers to gang members to even, surprisingly, children. And interactions with just about every person of interest have many dialogue tree choices. The visual identity of Night City is also strong, with neon colors and hazy lighting giving the world an appropriately gritty feel. Advertisements for in-universe products are everywhere, cars have upwards of a dozen radio stations to choose from, the urban
Very
favela
cool.
near my apartment is teeming with shops and food stands, etc. The quests do a great job of adding to this as
A lot of
well,
people don't do a good
with
job
bigger
at it, so
jobs
why even
featuring
talk about
multiple
it?
layers of setup, pre-game,
But,
and
yeah, if you
intrigue,
go out of your way to
and you'll have the chance to
do
change
something great with
allegiances
it,
numerous times
you're gonna
during
catch
these
people's
major
attention, so it makes
quests as
sense.
well. Anyway, after illegally parking on a basketball court, which upset the guys playing, until I spiked one of them in the head with the ball and punched a second one, leaving the third to cower in fear, I walked into Lizzie's bar to talk to my pal Jackie. He encouraged me to abandon the corporate life, but of course, it can't be that easy.
Now sit down and tell me what's got your shorts in a knot.
A driving sequence a short time later again showed off Cyberpunk's wide acting range, so to speak. 1 minute, Jackie is driving and more heavies sent by Abernathy are on our trail, so I lean out the passenger window and shoot the guys out of the back of one van and the driver of another. The next minute, as we approach the entrance to my neighborhood, Jackie, with a dialogue tree assist from yours truly, sweet talks the female officer and convinces her to let us through a roadblock after the area has been locked down. Later, I encounter near opposite gameplay from the chase sequence when Judy Alvarez puts me into a brain dance, a sort of interactive video.
It's obviously the
built from
prologue,
one's
but it
memory,
seems like it's definitely
in an
designed to
effort
kind of
gather
give you
intel
the
in
all-around
support of the
experience of what
overarching
to
main
expect
quest.
gameplay-wise,
Think of
like
the
a
brain
tutorial,
dance editor as a cyberpunk
expanded.
version of Detroit Become Humans investigation scenes, where you'll scrub the timeline back and forth and examine the scene from multiple angles using audio, visual, and thermal cues. Both of the brain dances I played dragged on a bit too long, but hopefully they're tutorial
Seems to be a similar.
There's so much to cover during the first 4 hours of playtime that I'm leaving out a lot of stuff I also did to further invest in my character and immerse myself in Night City. From visiting the Ripper Dock to get my first cybernetic upgrades, to joining an underground fight club, to completing the same rescue the cybernetically overloaded naked woman from the bathtub full of
I wonder how
mission
they'll
we
handle
previously seen at E3
humanity
and
in the
more.
game, because
Again,
in
there
Cyberpunk,
is
if
a
you
lot
have too
going
much
on here. It is highly
augments,
unlikely that
you
you'll burn
become less
through
human.
everything
You kind of lose
Cyberpunk
yourself.
2077 has to offer in a single weekend.
I'm curious if that will play a part in
Well, did
your
you just hear a lot of
development.
spoilers about Cyberpunk's
I feel like it'll
early
definitely be
game?
in the story.
Technically, yes.
Because when you look at that one dude
Practice,
who's
not
that big
really,
buff
as there are
fucking
so
machine
many
guy,
different
I mean,
choices
I
to be
doubt
made about
he's
your
even got a
backstory,
personality
your
at
play
this point.
style, your quest choices, and more, that odds are good you'd never have my exact same experience anyway. It's also important to mention that my 4 hours with Cyberpunk 2077 weren't perfect. I barely got a chance to use any of the hacking and stealth skills I invested so many of my first upgrade points into, though that's admittedly more of a time limit problem than a game problem. And for what it's worth, I didn't even see Keanu Reeves' Johnny Silverhand
No one
the
did,
entire
motherfucker.
time I played, so it remains to be seen how large a role he
His
plays.
wording is dumb. He's fucking.
Mechanically, the inventory
My
management was a
playthrough
bit
weren't
clunky in the build I
perfect.
played,
Well, what's
with
fucking
some
perfect?
gear and
Like,
upgrade
you
screens
played it.
best described as annoyingly unintuitive. So too were some of the tutorials, and the driving controls didn't feel particularly good either. But most,
Really?
if not all, of these issues are exactly the kind of things CD Projekt Red can spend the next 4+ months ironing out. Cyberpunk 2077 feels like the spiritual successor to Warren Spector's legendary original Hall of Fame inducted Deus Ex. I personally cannot pay it a higher compliment than that. It just
say
might
it
somehow live
it
up
feels
to
like
the
a
last
more advanced-
half-decade's worth of hype. For more on Cyberpunk
advanced version of Deus
2077,
Ex.
check out 15 minutes of gameplay from the Pacifica district of Night City from last year, as well as a look at the character creator. And for everything else,
Show me
keep it
the
right here
genitalia
on
fucking
IGN.
customization, dog. This is
And the
important.
afterlife.
I'm not interested in that shit. J Dizzle G J Dizzle G 03 is now following. Thank you for the follow. This feels like it's funny. I'm always fascinated by the question of how do you introduce game mechanics without it being a clear tutorial. I think lots of games recently have done better at integrating tutorials. There was a period there where almost every game had like the quintessential fucking tutorial. Like you started the game, it was like walk forward, crouch, this is how you jump, blah blah blah. And then some people start doing it in like a story way, but also like still basically going like, sometimes there's rubble, so make sure to go under it. Try doing it now. And then yeah, some people have slowly been able to kind of integrate that into something that feels a little more drawn out and story based, which is nice. So, but I do feel like this prologue will be kind of that, but it doesn't seem overly tutorial like, which is nice. Because I mean it's immersion breaking for sure, a tutorial. So the beginning of 2077 will probably be the tutorial section disguised as still story progression and world building. The open world doesn't open up immediately, so I assume the opening restricted section will be the tutorial. Yeah, I feel the same. Before it opens up, I need my girl's dong to be huge. I mean, if you want that girl dong to be huge, fucking this is the game for you. Let me tell you, this game exists just for you, and anybody who's interested in giant girl dong. Here's the thing with Cyberpunk 2077 2, though. Think of the massive progress between The Witcher 3, and you got Witcher 3 twice there. But I get what you're saying. The Witcher 2, Witcher 3, and the sequels to Cyberpunk 2077 will take a big step forward from 2077. This is the first in a new franchise for CD Projekt Red. I agree. Yeah, I'm not ready to be thinking about the sequels to this, but you're right, because this isn't a one-off. As long as they don't lose the rights or have some kind of weird relationship with the fucking author, I could see them definitely continuing on with this. Specifically with the reception so far, it's all been good. It's been good for years, and people have played it now, and they're saying good things. So it makes complete sense that they would continue on with this. I guarantee this game sells really well. Guaranteed. It's just in the fucking books. Now, if it's received well, that's different, but they're going to make their money. So, and they're going to support it. They're going to make money off the DLCs, the expansions. And as long as they nail the game, they definitely will make another one. So, which is great. And the thing that's great about, having a Cyberpunk, literally that game, is there's so many stories you could tell. I mean, you can make a sequel and not even have the exact same character that you played from the last game, make a different character, or maybe carry over your character, but have a whole new thing happening that's unrelated to the prior thing, or maybe have hints of what happened in the prior game or something like that. It's pen and paper. I mean, it's the possibilities are endless, which is very cool. I mean, me and Sherry were talking about that when it came to the expansions. I mean, you could literally introduce expansions the same as you would introduce a new campaign in pen and paper. Just have a new story arc, new episodic, not episodic as in releasing the game, but have a new episode of story essentially that's 40 hours long, where you just continue living in that world, have maybe new locations, new vehicles, whatever you add with that expansion, But yeah, I mean, knowing CD Projekt Red, they're not opposed to creating a whole another chunk of map with, a new story, new stuff. So, yeah, I'm excited for that. I guarantee it's going to be received even better at launch too. I can see IGN, Skill Up, etc. all come out and saying how much improved it is and some of their issues they had being fixed and overhauled. They're putting everything into getting this base game right. And they've been working on it for so fucking long at this point. It's just impossible in my brain to assume that they won't put the work in to make sure the game's correct and just right and works well. I'm not trying to put them on a pedestal where I think of them as gods or something like that, but they've only showed throughout their career that they're dedicated and willing to put in the hard work to make sure something is good. I agree. Some of my favorite DLC are ones built into the game, like Iceborne, The Witcher 3 DLCs, etc. I don't mind standalones like Left Behind or the Metro Exodus DLCs, but I feel more immersed when the DLC is built into the game. Yeah, one-off DLCs, even in BioShock, where it's these alternate stories and shit, they're fun, but when they're announced, I'm not excited. I want to continue what I was doing, like a true expansion, like old school expansions where you play Diablo 2 and then a new expansion comes out and just extends the story. It's it's not quite a sequel, but it's a chunk. It's 1.5, or Iceborne. a whole new thing to look forward to. Continuing, but I feel more immersed when the DLC is built into the game as a natural story point, like the old Hunters. Yep, they're constantly improving and looking forward on how they could do better. Agreed. All right, I'm going to give everybody about 5 minutes to discuss what they saw. I'll kind of give my last thoughts on this before I do another episode on this later tonight. And then I will close this out because I got to get ready. Overall, I think the presentation was good. If I was going to grade the presentation, I'd give it a solid B+. Nobody was annoying. Everybody was likable. The information they gave was new and interesting, and it screamed hype. Everybody looked like they were enjoying themselves. You could tell there's passion there, especially with Pavel, who's always, seems like he's super into what he's talking about. The footage that they showed was brief, but very, just kind of like everybody's saying when it comes to the gameplay, densely packed. There's a lot to take in that very brief video. Them sprinkling in some more video of gameplay as the presentation went on was cool. Gave you something to look forward to. The idea of them doing an anime through Trigger is very cool, although it's coming out in 2022, which is, not soon. But still something to look forward to. I mean, I'll take anything Cyberpunk. So if you're going to release a Cyberpunk anime, I'm all for it. And I've seen a couple things from Studio Trigger already, and I think they're really good, really creative. So that is exciting. And they're well known, so and well liked. So that's a cool partnership. And yeah, I mean, watching the previews as well from everybody, it seems like there's a lot of consistency in thoughts on a lot of things. I've heard different things on the driving. It looks good to me, but some people said it's a little heavier, but it felt good, and someone also said that it didn't feel good at all. So that's something they could definitely work on. Seems like everybody's impressed with the world. So am I, from what I've seen. Hand-to-hand combat, I thought when I originally saw it at E3, looked kind of janky, but still kind of cool. I remember in the E3 demo I watched, the dude was doing hand-to-hand and then grabbed a bottle off of a table, broke it when he hit somebody, and stabbed someone in the throat with it. And I was actually really impressed with that playing out like that, which I still haven't seen really a whole lot in these videos they've been showing. And yeah, all in all, very, very excited for this game. I mean, like, to say I'm hyped is an understatement, and my level of hype just keeps going up. A lot of times I'll kind of hit fucking peak hype with a game. I'm like, yeah, I'm sold. I'm done. I'm ready. But this game, because the way they've released info on it and the way that they're slowly showing you a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, I can't be at peak hype because I'm not 100% on what exactly this game is going to be like. I have a very good idea, obviously, but they're being very smart about keeping most of it secret. They want you to play the game and go, holy shit. And some games are really kind of... I've seen the build-up to games be so advertised that by the time I got it in my hands and played it, I felt like I had played it before. And they're doing the opposite, and I really appreciate that because I hate when people... Oh, Ubisoft's really bad about it. They'll fucking show you everything before that game comes out, and then by the time you play it, you're like, I've already done this. I've already fucking done this. And they're doing the opposite, which I really appreciate. I think it's really cool, really smart, and, it's definitely paying off in the sense of hype. I mean, anyone who's following this game, I don't know anybody who's following this game who's getting less hyped about it or being worried about it. I know some people with the delays are kind of like, hopefully they got everything under control, but they're doing a really good job at keeping the community invested in this game, which is awesome. Real quick, I got like 2 minutes left. See if I was Greg better. Oh, it has a big issue though. No Greg from EA or ugly flower crystal shirts. No personable enough. If Greg was in this, I'd be so upset. I'd be so upset. It's like if I asked you for my favorite fucking meal, and then you just, like, opened a thing of salt and dumped it on the top. Like, there you go. And just ruined it. That would be Greg Miller in this video. CD Projekt Red better step their game up by not fucking ever having Greg Miller on anything that they do. I imagine the animation will be top-notch for Cyberpunk's anime. I just hope the writing is good, and it's got a good episode length to tell a compelling and emotionally invested narrative. I think Trigger does, like, 1 to 2 season animes, which I'm all for. I don't like ones that stretch into, like, 700 episodes. I can't do it. There's so much filler that just kind of loses me. I like a good, just well-told story, and that's it. I don't want just to experience a whole season of a show where they're just, like, at the beach fucking hanging out and playing volleyball and stuff. But I feel like with Trigger, the action will be creative. Their animation style is really, really interesting. I thought the hand-to-hand looked great, but now I'm hearing it's outright bad. I don't know if I mean, I haven't played it, but I wouldn't say it looks outright bad, but it does look less inspired than everything else you're seeing. But I mean, hand-to-hand combat is you punching somebody. So, and we haven't seen really the melee combat of like weapons and stuff, but it's an RPG. You're gonna walk up to somebody, you're gonna punch them, you're gonna do damage. So I don't expect it to be a boxing game, but I think it's serviceable. I don't think it looks bad, but I don't think it looks amazing either. In fact, I think it's probably one of the weaker visuals in the game, if I'm being honest. But everything looks so stellar anyway. That's not really downplaying it too much. It's just not up to scratch with almost everything else. So maybe they'll do something to make it feel a little more impactful. I think the biggest thing they could do is make it feel more impactful. I want to see people reacting in a more harsh way, a more visceral way to getting hit. I mean, the cinematic where he threw the fucking basketball into the guy's face and knocked him down, that looked great. Seems to be the only thing people are outright calling bad. A game this big and ambitious with so much to it, that's impressive in itself. I hope they overhaul it or better work on it before launch. And I'm sure they will. They got plenty of time. Alright, that's me out of time for this stream. I want to thank everybody who hung out and watched it with me. It was fun, and look forward to another extended conversation on this exact thing soon. Anybody watching after the fact, let me know in the comments what you think of this presentation. What was your favorite thing about it? Are you worried about anything? Do you think there's some things they should be working on? What features would you like to see them put into the game, maybe that they haven't shown off? What is something that you feel like they should have shown in the trailer but they didn't? Do you think the length was good enough of the whole thing? Do you feel like they didn't show enough? And what do you think about the melee combat? What do you think about the whole being able to kind of go through and investigate and watch people's stories and kind of figure out what happened there? Yeah, what do you think about the prologue? What do you think about everything? Let me know in the comments below. And real quick, I'm going to finish off. Ubisoft games also feel the same to begin with, though they don't do much between games, I agree, but I want a solid 25 to 50 episodes at least, not 11 to 13. I think Kingdom Come Deliverance does some of the best first-person melee, especially swordsmanship. Arguably the best, more visceral would be cool. I agree. Great stream. Thank you. I'm tired. I feel you. I got like 2 hours of sleep last night just to do this, so I'm fucking tired as well. So yeah, but you tackled a lot, boyo. Yeah, I had to, dude. I had to get this out. All right, thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned. We got more stuff coming up. We also got Game of the Month and Plus Club coming up this weekend. So until then, have